巨大合体。勇者 X カイザー最強のロボキング X カイザー。勇者 X カイザー。新幹線がブルーレイカーとグリーンレイカーに。これが驚異の左右合体だ。ウルトラレイカー登場。ゴッドマックスもすごいぞ。勇者 X カイザーマックスチーム登場。スカイマックス、ダッシュマックス、ドリルマックス、迫力の3体合体。戦えゴッドマックス。ウルトラレイカーもすごいぞ。勇者 X カイザー。ドラゴンカイザー登場。キング X カイザーと超巨大合体グレート X カイザー。フルパワーで攻撃だ。超巨大合体グレート X カイザー。三段変形ダイノガイストもすごいぞ。
緊急指令ギャレオンガイガーに変形だ。行くぞファイナルフュージョン承認。ドリルガオライナーガオステルスガオ合体だ。見ろディバイディングドライバー。超人合体ガオガイガー。行くぞ。今ならこのディバイディングドライバーがついてるぞ。町の平和を任せろ。左右合体潮流人。ボルホックガンドーベルガングルー合体せよ。腕を上げろ音を出せ。激音合体ビッグボルホック。キャンペーン実施中。
ハロー、ミーはマイクサウンダス13世。レッツゴーマイク。オッケー、システムチェンジ。サウンドスタート。一緒に戦おう。サウンドロボマイク&バリバリ。
見ろ超巨大ロボキングジェイダー。宇宙戦艦ジェイアクに変形だ。宇宙に敵なし超ド級合体キングジェイダー。
よみがえる熱血伝説マグナティラノからマグナザウラーへ。そしてマグナバスターザウラージェットオーザウラーと合体。トミー熱血武装マグナザウラー。復活最強の戦士。恐竜ロボからジェットへ。そしてグランザウラーへ熱血進化。オーザウラーマグナザウラーグランザウラー。3つの熱血が時空を超え今一つに。トミー超熱血合体キングゴーザウラー。
発進。鳳凰獣王剣王雷神王に無敵合体。ジャース帝国から地球を守るのだ。無敵合体雷神王。トミーから雷神ソードもよろしく。伝説は今始まる。ドラゴンからロボへ。無敵変形爆竜王雷神王と超無敵合体。完成ゴッド雷神王。限界を超えた超無敵ロボトミー
合体ダルタニアス、ベラリオス、ガンパー、アトラウス登場。21世紀のメカミライオン、巨大ロボに完全合体。今衝撃の合体革命、クロスイン。未来ロボダルタニアス完成。未来合体デラックス超合金ダルタニアス、ポピーより発売中。
今こそ復活、5体の守護獣たち、見よこの勇姿。シーズン守護獣たちの進化は続く。いでよドラゴンシード。究極を極めた進め重騎士。
小さな体に力を秘めた強い重い精密なメカ、これが噂の超合金マジンガー Z ポピーより新発売。
ゲッターロボ G ドラゴン、ライガー、ポセイドン。戦闘準備完了。人類の敵百鬼帝国を攻撃せよ。ライガーミサイル、トマホーク、ブーメラン、ストロングミサイル。ジャンボマシンダーゲッターロボ G ドラゴン、ライガー、ポセイドン、ポピーより新発売。
チェンジゲッターあの迫力を君の手に。デラックスゲッターロボ GO 豊かより。ゲッター GO 合体チェンジゲッター GO。 あの興奮と迫力を君の手に。戦え僕らのヒーロー。デラックスゲッターロボ GO、 そしてゲッターショーゲッターガイ豊かより。
ダンボスコンビネーション、ダンボス GO、 ダンボス GO、 ダンボス GO、 準備。
宇宙の侵略者を迎え撃つためにコンビネーションロボザンボット3、ここに誕生。3つのメカが1つになってザンボット3。
エースフォロー、アンパンチ、エースミサイル。
ザンボット3コンビネーションジュニアクローバーから発売中。
今日も戦い続けるザンボット3、今クローバーから。宇宙要塞ソロモンからテキサス、そして光る空へ。恐怖のモビルアーマービグザム、赤い彗星シャア専用ザク。ニュータイプの運命は RX78 ガンダム無敵のメカニズム。パーフェクトコレクション機動戦士ガンダムバンダイのプラモデル。 獅子、赤獅子、そして3代の獅子たちよ。今眠りから覚める5代の未来獣、ロボットメカの限界に挑戦。全く新しい奇跡の超合体システム、ついに完成。未来獣合体5ライオン、未来に挑戦するポピーより絶賛発売中。
Reactor engaged. Traction locked. All go.
Hello, hello. I hope you're all doing well this evening. Thank you for joining me on whatever this is going to be. So, firstly, let's go ahead and take a look before we get into housekeeping at the kind super chats I was sent. One by True Buddha Cat for $5. It's not much, but here is some money to help get all this degeneracy out of your head. Thank you for your service, Lio. It's just a stream. It's not service. But thank you. Raccoon Fangirl for $5. Lio, did you see the new He-Man movie? Also, Old Man, give your cat some pets for me. I did, and I actually did a review of it that you can check out on the channel, and I will be sure to give the beast some pets. And then we have Platinum Anex for $10. Hey, Lio, I'll be back after I get some food, but two things. One, I hope you're having a nice day. Well, we'll see. Two, could you please promote the art event? And Cat's Lair, this month's beam is Saddle Damage OC's BRB. All right. Okay. All of you dorks, who I know you are currently not even looking at the screen. You are looking at your tablets, and you are drawing, or you're doing it traditionally. I see you. Straighten your back up. All right. Stop shrimping. All right. And join the server and join the art contest. They are fun, and you're all gay. So let me go ahead and get the server link so we can do this. All right. And yes, if you think I'm calling you out personally, I am. Whoever you are, I'm calling you out personally. So let me go ahead and put this in chat. I'm definitely calling out Magma Paint personally. And the reason why I'm calling out Magma Paint is because she got, like, scared or surprised that I commented on one of her community posts. I have literally said your name in streams before. How do you not know that I'm aware of your existence? Pin message? Why did you do that? The scuff is on my side this time. It's not even part of the content. Did it pin the correct message? It did. Good. Alright, so then we have a couple more super chats. Blossom Tide 908, $2. Hey Lio, hope you and the missus are well. We're okay. Super Godo Satsu for $10. Colorful toy commercials followed by man-made horrors behind my comprehension. Unfortunately, all of these are, well, easy to comprehend, and it sucks. How do I put this? I do see there is a super ultra mega gay person by the name of Duplex who is talking about the horrors that are Furbies. Now we will have to have a crusade against you because Furbies are an abomination and must die. And to Raccoon, I am not a kid at heart. I don't think I've ever actually been a kid. And, yeah. Anywho, so, let's go ahead. Let's see here, Raccoon Fangirl for $2. Did you ever collect Legos? No. I have one Lego set, though. It's the Optimus Prime one. I haven't built it yet. Luna Moon, $8.29, $15. Thank you. I've been itching for stream. I've had a horrid week at work, and I need entertainment. Well, I can't promise you'll be entertained. You might be horrified. And for the answer to, I think it was Buddha Cat asking why no anime commercials. I just like the robots right now. All right. It has nothing to do with copyright. I'm always able to find a way around that. So here's the thing, right? I've been told this video covers awful things, but guys, I've dealt with so much crap. It's very hard to actually, shock me at this point, especially when it comes to this specific scumbag. A handle on life for $5 is always something, ain't it? Yes, literally yes. It is always something. I've been in and out of calls all day long because somebody did something really goddamn stupid, which is what Beckett's talking about tonight, which I must kill the crab man. I must dunk him in boiling water. He stole my stream time. We shall joust whenever we can. I don't need more Lego sets, simply because I have enough Gundams. All right? I've had enough Gundams. Toa Loax for $2. Have you seen long Furbies? They are so cute. They are horrifying. What do you mean cute? Like, okay, so maybe somebody, I'm just going to say this. One in the chat if you are under the age of 35, all right? One in the chat if you're under that age. I need to make a point here. And no Kalili, I've never been stung by a turkey because turkeys can't sting. Turkeys don't have stingers, but they bite. And I would fight a turkey. I would fight a turkey. Well, I should get something Chikawa? I don't know what that means. So Anonymous Legion for $5. Would you say STP is like a cockroach? An unwanted vermin who somehow returns? No, I wouldn't, because cockroaches fill a very specific part of, like, our ecological system. Stargiant doesn't. They have value, right? Okay, so thank you for the ones in chat. So let me explain something to you. All right? As Raccoon Can Girl, again, thank you for the 5, says, you kid at heart, I don't believe your lies. Furbies are adorable. They are not, and I am not. And Ace Madness for $59 for $3. A gift for you, Lio. Thank you for what you do. Again, I'm just running my mouth. But thank you. Okay, so when Furbies came out, the only thing any of us from my generation could think looking at this thing is, that's a freaking Mogwai, isn't it? That's a freaking Mogwai. And then, not only that, it learns, right? And it repeats things. And sometimes it does it in its own Furbish language. So there'd be times we're at school, walking down the hallway, and some lunatic left their Furby in the locker, and the thing starts speaking Latin at you. All right? Now, I've dealt with the demonic, okay? I'd rather deal with a demon than a Furby. Because I can cast the demon out of something. The Furby belongs to somebody else, and if I mess with that, I'm harming somebody's property. All right? I can't do that. Goji Lion for $2. Screw Furbies, get Godzilla toys instead. Actually, I'll be getting in a Haya Toys GMK Godzilla soon. I'm looking forward to that. I've never had a Haya Toys figure. Lucifer to Scare for $2. I almost bought a long Furby 1 year at Anthrocon. Don't do that to yourself. All right? Just don't. Don't. I don't trust Furbies. All right? Another thing from my generation you have to understand, right? I know that all the people who typed 1 in chat, specifically you guys, I want you to type 2 if you're a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay? Anybody who typed a 1, if you're a fan of FNAF, type 2 in the chat, all right? And we'll get to housekeeping and all the horrors soon, all right? I've got some housekeeping to do, so. 2 in chat, if you're a FNAF fan. And I know you suckers have autism, so there ain't no way there's nobody who's into that here. So we'll wait on that. All right, so I see some 2s. Good, good. I need to explain something to all of you. I need to, and yes, I've seen the Furby organ. Don't start. Your generation, Lucifer to Scary, $2. When I was a kid, I thought Furbies were demonic. You didn't think you knew. You understood. Your generation sees animatronic, and you're like, oh, a video game I'm so very fond of. Brings me great memories of watching Markiplier lose his spaghetti, or I like the lore, yada yada. Reactor Rants for $5. Been working 2 jobs and in college, so it's been a minute since I got alive. Hope you're doing well, Lion Man. Doing well as can be. Well, not as well as can be, but whatever. To my generation, animatronics weren't, I like the lore, I like the gameplay. It was, that thing should not be moving. Especially not like that. I don't know what's going on. I am in a place that smells weird. There's pizza here, but also a ball pit that I'm pretty sure has, like, fingernails in it. I think I saw a kid die there yesterday. And these horrific things are jittering around, shooting sparks, and I'm pretty sure they're possessed. Animatronics were not a positive thing to my generation, all right? And there's a reason why they weren't. They hit the uncanny valley in every single aspect, all right? They're not even cool like Transformers. So I don't see something like a Furby and think, that's a neat piece of equipment. My thought is kill it. Kill it now, kill it fast. Put it in a hydraulic press. Make it go down like the freaking Terminator in the second movie. I want to see it die in a flesh pit. Screw that. Die, die, die. So, that's the difference between our generations. Family Guy funny moment for $2. I own 12 Furbies and they all woke up from a storm. That is horrifying. I would leave the house and burn it down. Raccoon Fangirl for $2. I had a toy Furby like Chuck E. Cheese. Well, I'm glad you had that experience, I suppose. So, if we're done talking about the terror that is the Furby, God, thing is I don't even know which one's worse, Furbies or Funko Pops. You guys can debate that in the comments, right? Do I still practice martial arts? I still do some fencing, so technically yes. But I'm also old and getting up there in age. Have you ever played Tattletales? Basically, like, actual demon... No, I've never played Tattle. What the heck? Isn't there a horror game going to take care of Furby? Yeah, it's called Buying a Furby. Okay, so, let's get into some channel plans before we get into full housekeeping, okay? So, I am trying to raise some money, personally, but I want to be very clear here. If there's somebody who needs it for important things, don't give me the money. Give it to them, okay? I've got several people I know right now that are struggling, and their stuff's going to be posted in the server soon enough, but I'm trying to make sure I get the content layout for the next few months done ahead of time. Not only because I want to try to get it to TFCon this year in October, but for September, I have Power Ranger September, where I am daily reviewing a new Megazord that I've never touched before. I'm doing very little Mighty Morphin, for those of you who actually care about the toy reviews. And then October is just nothing but Transformers. So there's a lot of stuff I need to get, so that's what I'm working on that. And that doesn't even touch, like, the drama stuff I have to get to eventually. So, that's the content plan for the channel. I'd like to start actually regaining some of the money that, well, was manipulated out of me by certain people. I'll just leave it to that. Now, what is the current housekeeping? Well, let's talk about what we're going to discuss today before we get into the video. So, as any of you, quite literally any of you know, I was involved in the whole Necopon Stargiant stuff. It's how the Rosa situation even ultimately happened. Right? A lion man who just attend the foe. I am a proud Luddite! How dare! Review Time Force? No. It's primarily going to be Wild Force, SPD, Dino Thunder. Shoot, what was the other one? Can't remember. We'll figure it out later. Oh, some Lost Galaxy. For the most part, I like the animal ones, okay? I stick with SPD because it's good. So I'll support it because it's good. But I like the animal Zords better. Now, you don't send me anything, Ren, because you need to keep all your money. I know you. So, reviewing Sailor Moon. I thought about it. But anyways. So, I want to make something very clear. And before I say this, I will put out a disclaimer. Thank you, Sephiroth, for $5. Evening from Alaska, Lion Man. Hope yours and Mrs. Move goes on. Went well. What? Move goes... I mean, we haven't moved yet. It's going to be a few years in the making. Have a Patreon? Yes, I have a Patreon. It's really funny. I'll tell you, this is really funny, okay? And then I actually need to get into things. So, Gilded Pooh, Vlad. His channel is like literally a quarter the size of mine, right? Like, he doesn't put out content as often. He gets less views. He's a smaller channel. That dude rolls me in freaking Patreon. It's actually kind of funny. Like, he makes like $300 on Patreon. It's really funny. Like, it is actually funny. But, okay, so. Inter put out the video, like, the worst predator hunt ever. In that video, hold on, I forgot. This is what happens when I get lost. I do not dislike Mr. Inter as a person. I do not hate him. I'm not coming after him. I will make no content based on him like that. I do not have any beef with him to that degree. I do know this. He apparently has some fear of me. Not going to tell you why. It's nobody's business. Alright? However, in his video about the worst predator hunt ever, or Shameless, whatever it was, he got a lot wrong. He spent 40 minutes of that video being incorrect, primarily directed towards me. Now, I have had a call with him last year. Beckett never asked for the head. That was Kristen Ark, and yes, he did. And Kristen Ark's retired, but whatever. I've worked that out with Mr. Enter. He has admitted when he was wrong about things. I have never asked him to make a public apology. All right? I've never asked for anything like that, and I don't plan to. That's ultimately on his conscience and by his values. I'm not going to force that. It's also why I'm not going to go after him or anything like that. So if you're here thinking I'm going to go after Mr. Enter or dog on him, there's the door. I'm not going to do it. However, I do think that needed to be addressed. I don't know if I'm going to at some point do a video where I explain what happened about all the stuff with Necopon, but here's what I will tell you right now. In the video, he talks about how I promised to do something and that I didn't do it. He never came to me, ask why, never came to find out what was going on, right? He just cut and run. Whatever. So I'm going to tell you what it was. So, when Lazy Bedhead put out the Redux version of the stuff that happened with Necopon, a lot of stuff concerning the character Indo Did you ever have a call with Lanza about anything? That wouldn't be worth my time. I at least know Inter on some basis, so that actually would not be worth my time. For now. So, a lot of the stuff about Indo, one of Necopon's victims, was cut out. They are a victim, alright? Indo was preyed on. Was preyed on by Necopon. That's not a question. However, I'm going to tell you what I promised. I told them, when they were going to release the video, I was going to try to get a hold of Indo's parents, because Indo was never okay mentally. They've been in and out of the mental ward because of suicidal ideation. I couldn't find them. And then Asuka approached me, because Asuka had their information, but there's a problem. The problem is Indo's father already took them out last time they submitted themselves for their own safety. So he was worthless to talk to about it. And Indo's mother doesn't even think mental health exists. So I'd be calling people to tell them something they don't even believe in. Because the idea was maybe Indo would freak out and do something horrific, right? I couldn't. It wasn't that I chose not to. It wasn't that I reneged on a promise. I'm certainly not a liar. I did not have the ability to follow through on it. And nobody asked. I'm going to tell you right now why I was never able to get a Necopon video out. There's a couple of reasons. One, we didn't even get through all of the data yet. There was a crap load of data about it. And to be clear, even though Inter took shots about how, Lio doesn't have a team, all the information he got, with the exception of one specific account that he calls Person X or whatever, that came from me and mine. Alright? That came from me and mine. He didn't find that on his own. So, a bit misleading there. I'm not going to call him a liar, but it was misleading, right? Now, we had a lot of data we still had to pull through, but one of the main reasons why I wasn't able to, and Asuka had to find this out the hard way. Every time Indo would come to me wanting an update, they would tell me they were wanting it done because they planned to kill themselves after it was done. So I am sitting here with somebody I'm trying to take care of, someone I am trying to do right by, someone I am trying to make sure doesn't continually re-traumatize themselves, telling me that when the video is finally done and out, they can actually just go and kill themselves. The heck am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do at that point? And it's not like I could run around telling people that. That it didn't help that Indo also had a tendency of trying their best to shop around to other places to pick up the story, because I wasn't doing it as fast as they wanted to. But the other reason why we had to completely and utterly cut Indo is Indo had told us at the beginning of this that it was just Mongrel who took the pornography that was made and spread it to servers to prove that Necopon was a child predator, because apparently that's how you do it. You get the pornography that was made for them and show people it. Idiot! They still defend that, by the way. Mongrel still defends that. What Indo did not tell me, that actually Kumo brought to my attention, so props to him for that, because I wasn't aware, is how they got that. How they got that was Indo gave it to them. And to be clear, it wasn't pornography made by Indo. It was a completely different victim. Indo intentionally did not tell any of us that. And I am sorry. Even if I'm trying to get something out for you, if you're a victim of something, you can't just lie about something like that. Especially not to me. Alright? Don't pull that crap. So I had to cut Indo off. What choices am I supposed to have here? I'm not going to sit there and sweep that under the rug. I'm not going to sit there and tell them that's okay, because they knew it was wrong at the beginning. Right? By the time they had come to me about all this, they were already an adult. They knew this wasn't rational. Alright? So that's what happened there. And maybe I'll do an actual video pointing out and giving you guys audio clips or whatever. But that's what I was dealing with. I know, Chris... How do I say that? Christina Coria. I know. Technically, yes, unfortunately. Jorge Ortega. So that's what I had. That's what was dropped off to me. That's the problem. All right? So let's step into what happened in 2023. There's a lot of misinformation about my involvement and what I did. Okay? So I'm going to make this very clear. We did not target Rosa because we just couldn't get to Stargiant. As screwed up as what we did with Rosa was, we were angry at Rosa. Stargiant, my call with Stargiant, did not happen until after the last call with Rosa. So I pivot how I'm operating, I change my direction here, and I talked to Stargiant in a controlled manner where I'm not pulling them in front of a bunch of people, and I'm not tearing their face off immediately, and even then they still run. You cannot complain that I'm too mean, and then get mad when I'm not mean enough when I'm trying to get data from somebody. Okay? That's the timeline. The call with Rosa happened before the call with Stargiant. And that's the only call I've had with Stargiant. And that was leaked against Indo's will, because Indo was the victim, because somebody who was in our circles listened to a predator like Nerf. In fairness, he didn't know he was a predator at the time, but Nerf's always been stupid and insane, and just gave it to people I was beefing with, just to spite me, even though I wasn't the problem there. It was going to harm Indo. So, be aware of that. Okay? Tiramisu, I don't follow it really. But, so, there's my interaction when it comes to this. Now, if I had the ability to get Ryan here in a call and tear his face off, yeah, I would do it. And I would have the time of my life doing it. Because I don't need to get information from them. I don't need to try to make sure that a victim is kept copacetic and that they're not retriggered. I would just have the ability to just strangle that little weasel in a call. I'd be able to just do what I am best at in that aspect and just bully a freak. But they're still running. Which is odd because they don't look like they run. But now, with all that, can I get a 1 in the chat if everybody gets what I put down now? All right? 1 in the chat if everybody's picked up what I put down. Homest. What am I being? Doggone it, Rin! Stop sending me cursed Furby pictures! Everybody in chat call Rin Stinky. Okay, so. About to start this video. I'm going to do it at 1.5 speed. Because I'd like to get to bed at some point tonight, and there's an auction I'm watching for more Megazords, and I'd like to be able to be awake to catch it. So, I'm going to say this. Sometimes there are people who struggle with letting go of bad people. That could be because of trauma. That could be because they're actually genuinely stupid. It could be a lot of different reasons. I'm not giving any of that to the people still around Ryan. I don't know how much more clearly you can lay out that Ryan's a degenerate, worthless piece of scum. I actually don't. I will be as kind as I can be, but that level is very low right now. Beef and Mash for $2, typing from my new keyboard. Hi, hello, Corn Lord. True Buddha Cat for $2. Apparently Ryan is more afraid of Phineas than Lio. That is amazing. That is hilarious. I love that. I love that for Phineas. Also, have some memberships. Yay! Yay! Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this abomination. Let me know if I need to alter anything. It's an hour and 42 minutes. Let's see how quick we can get through this. Blinky Irish, you need to show up more for $5. I hope you wake up in the middle of the night with a Furby at the foot of your bed. Furbies are amazing. If I do, the cats will kill it. That is where Gidget sleeps. And if you think for a second Gidget will tolerate the existence of a Furby, brother, she barely tolerates mine. Alright. It is time.
And welcome to Chapter 4. Yes, we're on the 4th chapter now. That's not including various side quests that are only tangentially related to the main plot at this point. I know what you're all thinking. I'm thinking it too. Personally, my plan after Chapter 3 was for there to be one final Stargiant video when the plot was all said and done, for a sense of closure if nothing else. That's not this video. This is not the end of the story, because unfortunately some events have transpired recently that require a more immediate response. Because, you see, someone in our midst is a dirty little liar. And this might be the one video that I make on Ryan that he might not object to, because as we all know, he hates liars.
I don't trust liars. I don't know how hard it is for me to state that.
Even besides that, since my video last October, a lot has happened. Surprisingly a lot. So an update is warranted. And if I sound particularly angry in this video, it's because I am particularly angry. If you thought that my previous videos were harsh on the people involved, that's nothing compared to what you get today. There really are no words to how I feel about these people. And this time, we're going all in. Several people have gotten very deeply under my skin, and they're about to learn exactly what that entails. And despite this video being entitled Stargiant, today, we're going to be doing something a little bit tangential. We're going to be dealing with Stargiant's den of liars and sociopaths. This isn't to be confused with Ryan's den of nonsense and degenerates, although some of them do have
the swipe at mongrel, you love to see it.
Significant crossover. You all remember this video, right? It's a classic. This was a nearly 3-hour video where Ryan responded to just about everything going on in his life. And by that, I mean that 70% of that video was him claiming that, yes, I am a good editor, no, I'm not a bad person, I have no flaws, interspersed with things like this.
Soul is also about piano music. Piano is the soul of humans. Personally, I think it's best to have as very few friends as possible. It must be the same reason why I wasn't allowed to call the police for a police officer pointing a gun at me. And I was 15 when I...
What? What? This is very jar-coded.
Gun thing happened.
Plenty of people have already reacted to that video. I did it myself on a stream with Beckett of Cope and Seed. So if you'd like to see an outsider's perspective to this insanity, I'd recommend watching that. Now, in addressing my abuse, there were 5 separate testimonies. Maddie's, Dar's, Jackson's, Chelsea's, and Jenny's. Maddie and Dar had left Stargiant Circle before I got involved investigating Stargiant at all. And Maddie has spoken on this issue plenty himself already. But what about the other 3? Jackson, Chelsea, and Jenny. That's the subject of today's discussion. At a point in history, the team and I felt sympathy for these 3. Jackson and Jenny were good friends to people that had become my own friends. And as for Chelsea, we all felt sorry for her, forced to go on and on about her mother's fart fetish in the video. That testimony largely turned her into an internet laughingstock. With 2 of these 3 people, we spent a concentrated effort trying...
Yeah, that's actually kind of cruel that was even put in that video. Nobody needed to know that. Like, that is something that she shouldn't even have told her friends about. Like, if I was that age and my parents had that dysfunction, brother, ain't nobody knowing. I will go to my grave without any of them knowing.
Trying to get them out of Ryan's circle. As for the third one...
Yes, I will unironically be more open about abuse in the household than I would something like that. I am not even joking.
They proved to be such a horrifying individual that they were beyond any sort of redemption. To the
Also, what in chat if you're not surprised that a brony is part of this?
point that they might have a more fucked up brain than Ryan himself. I don't make that statement lightly, but I am not kidding. And because we have to go chronologically, we have to deal with them first. Let's talk about Jenny, aka Jetto Bread.
What are these names? What are these names? The OG video, my favorite, minus the very end. I know.
But jumping to conclusions, well, assume means ass you me. Make an ass out of you me. Funny how many people assume things about Rebecca. She's probably one of the best online friends I've ever made.
This is not my first time talking about Jenny on this channel. I already talked about her on a stream, at least as much as I could at the time, because her insanity led to an actual, no joke, police investigation. The stream that I did was manually age-restricted. I did it intentionally myself, so I could just go off the cuff and say whatever I had to at the moment. But for the purposes of this video, I'll try to keep things PG-13, so this video is viewable by as many people as possible. After my March video in 2024, Jetto Bread approached Kota and gave him 2 sets of DMs with, like, almost no prompting.
I actually don't know if Ryan's a brony or not, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Just, here, maybe these will help. And to this day, none of us know why.
Just for absolute clarification, are you okay with all these being shared with the rest of the team? Yes, best get it out. Can't stand in the way of justice. Okay.
Let me be clear as I possibly can before we really get into the weeds. Jetto Bread is not well in the head, at all. They are legitimately mentally unstable. And a lot of what they do, a lot of what you're going to hear about...
Yes, Gas Mask, it was.
...defies all reasonable logic. So if things seem a little bit weird, or dare I say, kind of like a cartoon, we have to remember that we are talking about a very broken individual today. But before I do that, let me preempt the absolutely obvious here. We got these DM sets in March of 2024, and I only started looking through them in October of 2025, shortly before Halloween. Immediately after I put up the video where Ryan rants on I Left Impossible a lot. Your question is, why did it take so long to look through them? Practical reasons mostly. The first set of vlogs, the account Gen3 Bread, starts on December 21st, 2021, and largely ends around August of 2023. In the span of 2 years, Jenny and Ryan exchanged 41,412 messages, or roughly
terminally online, they need jobs or death, either way.
55 per day. And I don't mean just, hey, how you doing messages. Many of them were huge walls of text, to the point where...
I said I'd cut down on weed to lower my tolerance and save money, but but only if my desk has legroom? What? Well, it does, so deal's a deal. I am gonna miss smoking. Plan B was to continue the animation on paper, and when my PC would be fixed, scan and digitally redraw each frame. Tongue out. Yes, I really would have went that far. Oh no, having to do what every other animator up until 20 years ago had to do? Terrible. I hate having a lot of empathy. I really do. Oh, don't even start. Fictional, real, parent, anyone. Heck, even evil people. Oh, aren't you a good person? Look, man, I struggle with empathy, not in the fact that I struggle with giving it. I struggle with knowing when to stop. But this is nonsense. Sorry, but over the moon feeling just nosedive into an ocean of tears. Why do they always talk like this? Why can't they just say, you know, I'm kind of feeling down right now, dude? Why do they always try to be as, like, poetic as possible? You're not deep, brother. I didn't talk about how it upset... I didn't talk about it upset you. That's the empathy in me. ... I wanted to not say anything, but I'm literally in tears. Lucky him for $5, by the way. Ryan hates MLP because he truly believes that their lessons led him to be an awful person. As a brony, this hurts my brains. You know, I'm going to have a hot take. I'm going to have a hot take. A lot of the morals taught in the Gen 5 or whatever it was, My Little Pony, actually just aren't functional. I unironically, for like several years ago, it was something Sarah and I were planning on doing, but it's long since gone to the wayside. Comparing the morals that were taught in Thundercats versus the FIM MLP. And, brother, there was no comparison. Like, My Little Pony makes so many disastrous decisions on what they taught kids. So, I don't say that it would lead them to be an awful person. Maybe weak, but not awful. That was a choice they made. If I watch a documentary about the Nazis, it's the fact that that documentary made me a bad person because I chose the Nazis. No, you're just an idiot. Alright, so. Fiction can trigger it in me, but this one is reality. Dad found my stash, tried to get rid of it. I stopped him. Big argument. Stuff's in my car. I'm in tears because of the revelation or something. I hope you live through the real book of Revelation. I love my parents to death, even after the arguments. I'm in the wrong for not abiding their rule of it. Smoke if you want, but none of it on the property, even holding it in a jar. Please stay away from jars. Please stay away from jars. Why am I sad if I still got it? Because I'm too empathetic over my dad right now. I don't know if he got depression or something. We had to talk about his drinking, and he did cut down on the weekends. I think my dad is like mega stressed or feeling hurt about the outcome of his sons and daughter. Remember the DUI thing? He thinks I'm next for that. I'd never do it. I'd be stressed if this was my kid. I'd want to know where I went wrong. I know that it's not like to be... I know what it's like to not be listened to. You never shut up, apparently! Like, it hurts seeing... Yeah, I'm not going to continue reading this now. It's just going to piss me off.
Opening them improperly could crash a browser and force a computer reset. And that's even with many of the images within being improperly archived. Much of the actual contents of the messages obscure their importance. A lot of them are generic nonsense. And for like the first 2 months of this, which again is thousands of messages by the way, thousands of long-ass messages, the only thing of note is her repeatedly trying to get Ryan to start smoking some fuzzy grass. And I repeat, Jenny gave these DMs willingly with no prompting. And from the outset she appeared roughly amicable and, well, stable. People had criticism as you have criticism for anyone, but she was like normal. The fact that she gave all of
Ace Madness for $2. I heard jars and I flinched. Same. Okay, if you go back and you look at, like, the model kit I did of the Sosai, like, anime girl model kit, when I announced I was doing the review, somebody said, put her in a jar. So I literally just did a little skit where I just opened my door and put her between the door and the door jam. I was like, well, she is. There she is. She's in a jar. You guys are sick. Don't ask me that crap.
All these DMs to us willingly had us all a lot less suspicious than we really should have been.
Oh, that reminds me. Somebody in the Fox Mafia tried to weaponize that video against me because she had tea with Venom. Apparently that was sexual. They were really desperate to find something.
So, these DMs, the second set bringing us to a total of 57,765 messages. They were deprioritized as we looked through other angles and had other sources of evidence that were easier to access and seemed more pertinent. We got in contact with the owner of the Stargiant archive, Spicy Mac, as he had an op with Ryan and provided us basically enough to work with for a while. Eventually,
here's what I'm going to say about that channel. If you look in his comments section, you will find, like, some keynote examples of Lio derangement syndrome. Those people are actually insane.
Actually, it gave us enough to make last year's video, but that video unfortunately did blow his cover. Kinda, sorta. There was already a backup plan in play. So someone else was playing an op on Ryan, and that guy just gave Mac his accounts, and Mac just basically took over from where he started, continuing a new op like the old. And you may be wondering exactly how long it took Ryan to figure this out, and the answer is he didn't figure this out. With this new account, Mac talked to Ryan for months, like half a year. And by talk, I mean literally talk, as in they had actual calls together, multiple of them.
We both tried to call it F-slurs, which I know what that also means, but it was something just meant for ourselves. Like, okay, I'll be honest, like, a lot of my older problems were a lot of monkey see, monkey do, and a lot of times I would watch South Park and think those words were fine.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I know, mind if I just say the word for a second?
Yeah.
Like, I always heard that from South Park, and all the time, and even in my real days, I would say to whoever the motorcycle cuts me off. In fact, I said it twice yesterday, just because these motorcycles almost hit me, and I almost hit them, and I was like, it's like they wanted me to ram them just so they can get liability money from me.
And the funny...
Did Ryan's parents just not pay attention to what this little weirdo was watching? Like, when I was a kid, like, people had to sneak watch South Park. Brother, if your parents knew anything about that show, they were not letting you watch it.
The funny part is that Ryan knew Mac's voice. He's even seen some of the streams that the archive channel has done. But all you need to fool Ryan Koleski, I guess, is an over-the-top southern accent.
I'm doing great, by the way, and happy Friendship Friday to you. Hey, well, alliteration's always fun, ain't it? I mean, why do you think Stanley...
I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world to do. You can do a southern accent pretty easily. I mean, you just gotta change the tone, change how you say the word humble. You can't say it with an H. You gotta say humble. You gotta be very humble about things.
named all his characters with the same person, with the same letter in the first and last name, so hey.
Of course, realizing that I hadn't gone through these archives yet, I got to them eventually. And when I did, everyone was horrified. I swear, it was like opening the Ark of the Covenant. People who knew Jenny were horrified, and people who didn't know her were horrified. And let's just say, it doesn't make either of these people look very, very sane. The depths of the...
How dare? It was not the horror that killed people with the Ark of the Covenant. They couldn't stand the glory of God's power. Now we must cancel Mr. Enter for being incorrect about a fictional film. Agamon T1 for $5, in the words of the old YouTuber. When will you learn? When will you learn? Their actions have consequences. I love that guy.
Depravity that Jedobread has are almost unfathomable, and yet somehow Ryan comes across even worse.
Grace, how dare you? I'm not a Texan, I just live here.
From the lighter little stuff, like revealing that he jerks it 5 times a day, into his underpants, and even had to try the...
Why? Why did anybody need to know that?
Flavor once, to much more significant serious things. And before I continue, I know that there are some people out there who question the validity of my evidence. Like I'm on some long-ass soul-draining quest to go after a guy I hate for no reason. But I do understand some...
Okay, in fairness to Deadwing Dork, that actually does happen. Like, the community, Enter may not be aware of this, but the community calls them Pookie Crusades. I have watched people A-log for years because somebody upset their friend. Heck, the entire reason why I want Donnie in a box 6 feet underground is because he had people do that for him.
Some of the skepticism at...
Not his fault. Enter doesn't know.
This point. Ryan has a habit of trying to delete his past whenever he gets in drama. Every single time, he deletes old Discord accounts, old Google accounts, and the channel that Jedobread is talking to here is called Do Not Talk to Me. So, if...
The Bankman for $5. But can you do a foghorn, leghorn, southern accent? Actually, let me see here. Who's around right now? Who's around right now? Who can I bother to get in stream? Entertain the people. Archer for $2. Remember, kids always recycle to the extreme. Don't you do it. Don't you freaking start. Beefamat, are you around? Let me see here. Give me a second here. We shall see. I might be able to do something fun for you guys, so just give me a minute. Hello. Let me get you on screen proper here.
Yay.
If I can find you, I can't remember. Corn Lord, there we go. And I will move you as you need to be moved. All right, so are you drawing right now by any chance?
Yeah, actually.
All right, share the screen. The chat won't be able to see it, but I will. This is going to be for the bit.
It's on my... I'm doing it on my iPad.
Are you not currently on your iPad?
I'm on my PC, but I'm drawing on my iPad.
Okay, let me see if I can figure this out.
Well, I mean, I can move to my whatchamacallit.
Move to your whatchamacallit. We're gonna try it that way. People have paid money. I need to give them entertainment.
I can move the call to my iPad. I'll just have to call you back.
Sure. And no, Dr. Negaverse, I will not be adding you back. You're a UTTP weirdo. You can go play in like the pedophile servers or whatever. We wait for the Corn Lord to return. I will give the people what they want. All right. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, throw it up. We wait, chat. We wait for the Corn Lord to prepare the tech. There we go. All right, pull up your... That's a lot of sketches.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so what are we drawing here?
I was working on something for Art Fight, but we can hide it for now.
Oh, no, I want you to work on it for Art Fight. I want you to pull up what you're working on.
Oh.
All right, see if I can do this. Okay? I say, what you drawing there, boy? What you got in front of me right now? What is this I'm looking at? Are those a pair of eyes, boy? Is that what I'm seeing here? Respond when somebody asks you a question, boy. You got to respond. You got to use your voice. Breathe, boy, breathe. Tell me what's going on here. What are you drawing? You still ain't told me what you're drawing yet, boy. Are you listening, son? Are you not responding? You gotta perk up your voice there, son. You gotta perk up your voice. I gotta be able to hear you.
Hello? Can't hear me? What?
Can you hear me? Can I hear you? Can you hear me? I've been trying to talk to you, but focus on what I'm telling you to focus on, boy. Focus on those eyes. I say, this boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball. I think I've given them what they want, B. Thank you for being a good sport.
Okay.
Enjoy your drawing later. That was the Corn Lord, everybody. Round of applause for them. I'll read off one of my favorite things that I've seen of Foghorn Leghorn. Let's see here. Where is it? I'll read that out and then we'll be done. I say, you're pissing too darn loud, boy. It's late at night and you're pissing right in the center of the boil. Like you're frying chicken in there. Gotta piss on the side, boy. Make it a stealth mission. You're causing a whole lot of ruckus pissing like that, boy. Love that one. All right, let's get back to the insanity.
If you want some verification, because with how bizarre these DMs are, we absolutely did need as much verification as possible. Much of the contents of these DMs are Stargiant work related. Jenny was an animator and an editor for Ryan, and they talk about many videos in production while they were in production. These DMs are again backdated to 2021, and again there are 56,000 of them, and they were only given to us like a day after the major scandal broke. I can't imagine the kind of process it would take to fake any of this, especially in the span of 48 hours. The Do Not Talk to Me account links to Ryan's own accounts as if they are his own accounts. And when I can censor all the privileged information in these DMs, all 1 bajillion of them will be there for your viewing pleasure. You know, if you're willing to do more than just watch a video and react to it in the moment. Speaking of that, these DMs do give us a lot of interesting behind-the-scenes information, like the development of addressing my abuse. But more importantly, Jenny seemed to be like Ryan's second-in-command. Jenny literally called this grooming douchebag her soulmate.
Why? Just... why?
And Ryan told her, like, everything. And Jenny knew everything. A good chunk of the later portions of these messages showcases a very real downward mental spiral on the part of Ryan, caused by my very first video on Stargiant Productions. Oh no, not that one. Not the video where I called him a child groomer. No, when I say first video, I mean first video. The one where I merely called him a bad editor, a bad friend, and a shitty boss. Like, months and months, he goes on and on, like this one video here destroyed his entire life. And from a distance, it's a sight to behold. Although I must admit, not as much of a sight as the roleplay. Oh, the roleplay, huh? You want to hear about the roleplay.
I don't want to hear about the roleplay. I don't need to hear about the roleplay.
Man, it feels wonderful to get some fresh air as a break from reviewing animations. Ooh, what lovely flowers. These look quite nice. I'm sure Dashi will love these Achoo! I stand corrected. I don't think Dashi will love these pollinator flowers. Wow, I became taller.
No, not that roleplay, the other roleplay. The one that I'm talking about has never actually seen the light of day. So Ryan says that he had this friend who was really into the CMC and Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. And in...
No, why?
In this roleplay, he waters the flowers with white rain. You know what I'm talking about. And the white rain makes the CMC grow into giantesses. It's gross and evil and wrong. But of course, it's not something that Ryan would do this day and age, right? That was years ago. So Ryan actually goes on later to name the person he did this supposed RP with, calling them a horrible person. And yet further down in the chat logs, he actually goes on saying that they want this person to unblock them, which is a very, very strange thing to say if these allegations are true. If you're curious, this person was asked about this allegation and they obviously denied it. And because this ER...
So, one in the chat if you would like a little unironic biblical tangent for just a moment. You guys might find this interesting. Just one in the chat if you're interested. It's not that I'm like technically horrified. It's I didn't need to know any of this. I didn't need to know any of this at all. Never needed to know. I so don't need to know people's fetishes. All right, if people were just into thick goth girls, and that was it, like I'd be fine, right? Okay, so tangent time. So I'm gonna petition you guys real quick. Why do you think God flooded the world in Genesis? Just real quick, give me an idea why you think it happened. Because it's important to this, believe it or not. I'm not religious anymore. Well, are you religious any less? Haha. I'm into middle-aged Yakuza men with severe trauma. I would believe that from you, Shatterstar. I would believe that. Okay, so I'm seeing sin because humanity got corrupt. And while that is actually correct, because you wanted to kill the bronies, we'll get into that. Don't worry, sin. While that is correct, there's something underlying. A lot of people, especially Protestants, which I technically am one. But here's the thing. If you actually read it, Genesis 6. When human beings began to increase in number on the earth, and daughters were born to them, right? The sons of God. What are the sons of God? Well, they're part of something called the divine council. So if you want to know where the concept of polytheism came from, it's what these were, often called the Watchers in other texts. They are principalities God put in place to rule over certain segments of the world. We see this a lot in other biblical texts. That's what it means here by sons of God. The sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. And then the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be numbered 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become, and that every inclination of the thought of the human heart was only evil in that time." Now, why was the Nephilim mentioned right before this? It's because while we have it translated here, heroes of old, men of renown, the original text is a bit different, and you find out whenever the Nephilim are mentioned, they're the giants that are mentioned in the Bible. That is where Goliath came from. And they were horrific. They created all sorts of travesty and tragedy. There's an entire theology that goes behind the concept of the seed war. But essentially, God saw this happen, and not only did he throw the Watchers who did it into literally a bottomless chasm in darkness before the day of judgment, which is what the demons in Legion were scared they were going to get subjected to, but he flooded the earth to try to get rid of them. And here is Stargiant, like, I'm into giants. GG Pixels, $10. That came in for Bible time. Love that. Thank you. Raccoon for $2. Yay for sin. No, not yay for sin. You stop that. Whap. Okay, so the Titans and Greek mythos. Actually, when Paul writes about the fate of the Watchers, he uses the word Tartarus. He was unironically saying, that's where they are. The place you think the Titans are, that's where these Watchers are. There is so much depth to this, it's amazing. But enough of the fun. Now there's this.
RP has never surfaced. We don't have any real evidence that this actually happened, beyond the allegations of a crazy person. Someone who makes shit up about everyone, sometimes with
Well, no, She-Hulk isn't a giant, okay? Alright? She's a godsend. And I'm still mad that she never visited, and because she was supposed to tear up all my X-Men comics, okay? I remember that comic cover. She never did, I'm very mad about it.
Actually no reason, because Ryan lies as he breathes.
I get what you're trying to say.
I blame my mom. She's the one that forced me to delete that shit, and she forced me to delete my channel.
Yeah. Oh, she forced you to delete your channel.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that. I thought you just deleted it because of the video and whatnot. I thought that was your choice.
She told me this. If you want to stay living here, Ryan, you gotta delete this shit now.
Ryan's mother is transphobic and never accepted him as Rebecca, forced him to delete his YouTube channel where he publicly identified as Rebecca, forced him to delete his channel after being accused of being a groomer on threat of being thrown out, is helping him find a lawyer to fight the allegations. Good luck! Knows Ryan is making reviews after said video, but doesn't like it because she believes everyone online is a 10-year-old posing. I'm starting to understand why Ryan's so screwed up. I like the beat, though.
And I know that Ryan is lying here because he doesn't have a problem with people getting off to underage characters.
Yeah!
Because apparently he did that to the Loud House characters. Because according to archives of his DeviantArt, he was an admin for a Loud House B group, not a member of the
The mom's thick, that's about it.
Group. An admin. And it wasn't a generic Loud House group either. It was specifically a fetish group. He was working behind the scenes there. He may have even been the one to create it. Now, Jenny's testimony in addressing my abuse was the strangest of them all, even by the rest of the video standards. This is because a large part of it was cut out. Either by Ryan or Jenny, we don't really know. The part that was cut off was Jeddah Bread going on and on and on for so many pages, explaining how the
Blossom Tide, you shouldn't have faith in humanity. Faith should be in Christ alone.
Hyper fetish works.
Okay,
what do you mean hyper fetish? How is there a different... What?
This was something I kept to myself for decades. Yes, in childhood, I've had this, but obviously didn't know what it was being that young. I both let this slip by accident, but was also reassured by Rebecca that she would never judge my kinks. And she so far hasn't. Yes, she was shocked by... Anyone would be shocked by this. Unlike the others, she didn't cut me out. She didn't get angry and upset. She did need time to collect herself, but her handling of this was more than I could ever ask for. Even tell the truth, Rebecca has trauma surrounding diapers. Rebecca is Stargiant, the person they're defending. And the reason Rebecca has trauma around diapers, we found out from the video, is that their dog had to wear diapers, and that's how they knew they had to put the dog down. So now they have trauma over diaper fetishes. I'm not really sure.
That's not why you should have trauma over diaper fetishes. You should trauma over it because it's weird. Although I have to ask, if somebody in a nursing home has one, is it inherently bad? These are the questions you need to ask.
Sure how that works out. I don't know.
As you might remember, Ryan decided to take potshots at Kota.
And I mean somebody who is in the nursing home, not an attendant. I want to make that clear.
For this reason. You know, the person that Ryan tried to get to join a Not Safe for Work Discord server when he was only 17. Ryan decided to kink shame Kota because Ryan, quote-unquote, has trauma involving diapers.
The breaking point when I knew we had to put him down was when my mom suggested putting Chow in diapers.
Can we bring kink shaming back? Not because we need to inherently bully people, but that way they don't, like, go around telling people all the time what their freaking fetishes is. I don't need to meet somebody for the first time and immediately know what they're into. Like, I just don't. Just like I don't need to know if you've been sexually assaulted the first time I freaking meet you, man. I really just don't need to know. We need to bring back some concept of decorum and shame.
Couldn't bear the thought of my own dog being in diapers, and that put me in a trance. So yeah, we now have the ashes
in a trance. That's a weird word to use there.
Of my dog. And the less that I hear about both my dad and stepdad making jokes about wanting to run over cats with their cars and trying to kick me out of their houses for another dog, the better. And yes, they did this shit to me. I don't care if it was a joke. It's not a funny joke.
Now, stating that outright probably gave Jenny some very conflicting emotions. She not only thought that Ryan was her soulmate, but at the same time, she was still friends with Kota. And even more than that, Jenny wanted Ryan to be friends with Kota. And the most complicating factor here is that Jenny had that diaper fetish herself. So Ryan reacting so strongly to the fetish probably didn't sit very well with her. So, in the DMs, Jenny, once again I am not kidding, spends a significant portion of time basically grooming Ryan into accepting said fetish and engaging with it. No, it's not a joke. It legitimately is grooming. She continually pushed his boundaries and pushed through them to get Ryan into said fetish. That, once again, quote-unquote,
Sephiroth for $5. What if you're into orcs and barbarian women? Sorry, I'm at work. That's like, which I still don't need to know, in all honesty. Raccoon fangirl for $2. Who starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Traumatized him. So, that's really nice. I mean, I don't feel bad for Ryan, but like, what the fuck, Jenny? Like, against anyone that's...
I just saw one that said, I miss being a baby. I don't miss being a child. unspeakable horrors aside, I can buy as many Transformers as I want now with my own money. Why would you miss being a child?
Like a what the fuck thing to do. And realizing that was absolutely a mindfuck. Almost as much as Ryan calling both Wes and Grace Yahtzee apologists. I wonder if that's why he asked Wes, what do economics do?
Hey, Grace, are you a Nazi apologist? Tell me your opinions on the Third Reich. That is just such a weird non sequitur to throw. I don't like Graceland. They're a Nazi apologist because, I don't know, they call you out. But Inter does things that a Nazi could do. Oh my god, Inter drinks water, likes dogs, and all sorts of things that normal humans do. Oh my goodness. What is it that Ryan thinks Inter does that Nazis also do that isn't like basic human biological functions? Whoever here knows Inter better, or if Inter wants to hop in the side chat, Inter, have you ever tried rounding up a bunch of minorities? Have you ever, like, caused the Night of the Long Knives? I mean, is there something about him I don't know? Like, does he, like, have a secret back room where, like, after he goes past all of his old cartoon reviews, he just has, like, an entire freaking wall dedicated to the Third Reich? What is this nonsense?
If it sounds like a lot so far, this is literally just the beginning. Jedobred's insanity gets so much worse. When LioConvoy tried to confront Ryan over Twitter DMs...
Bonk says Inter's far right. Well, Bonk's a pedophile, and pedophiles aren't people.
Lio brought up Toon Critic. Lio asks Ryan at Toon Critic...
Who's Leo? Chat, can you guys find this Leo person that Mr. Wraith here is talking about? I don't know any Leos. Man, that's confusing. Are you at the wrong place? There's no Leo here.
Is a nonce. Ryan says, yes, obviously.
Okay, you can say the word pedophile, Enter. Like, YouTube actually doesn't penalize you for it.
All of this was in the quest of getting Ryan to admit that Necopon was also a nonce. Ryan's defense was that she had never been to court.
Back to Necopon. She's part some drama, accused of grooming. That is all that I know about her. Did she actually do this? I don't know! Stop going to me about this person. I know nothing.
Mr. Hinder started reviewing cartoons after he got rejected from art school in Austria. Look, I had some lunatic, Amaretta, you guys remember the call I published, in, like, Malcolm's Discord, unironically comparing my server and the people there. And I'm not saying that they did this, like, cutely, saying we're actually the same as the Nazi party, and that we're actually worse than them. And I have this to say. Not only am I not like Hitler in the sense that I don't hate minorities like he does. I also don't hate gay people. Gonna be blunt, he was also a better painter than me. So, you know.
About her. And no one in my server has any contact with her currently. So if she's or not, that is up for the police to decide, and not me. And not the internet either.
And the point that Lio had is that Toon Critic never went to court either. However, it's pretty much verified that Toon Critic is a nonce. He was doing ERP with a 15-year-old girl from the Philippines. And a bunch of other stuff too.
You have asked for photos of her in nothing but a leather jacket and panties. You have sent her pictures of your crotch only covered in boxes. You've sent her porn. You've done a lot of bad things, Zach.
And Toon Critic only seemed to remotely care when all of his former friends said that they couldn't associate with him anymore.
We can't associate with this. We cannot.
They should have bullied that freak harder in this call, and I'll stand by that. But yeah, a lot of people don't seem to recognize that being a pedophile isn't the same as being a child predator. Pedophilia is the attraction, predation is the action. One's illegal, the other's not. Unfortunately. Let's see here, check on something like this. Yeah, nobody worth the time. Continuing.
Seriously?
Seriously. We can't be associated with this.
Dude, look, I made a stupid mistake, alright? I'm trying to fucking change from that. I get it, alright? I did some stupid stuff.
At some point...
It was just an oopsie, guys. It was just an oopsie. Speaking of art, kind of a tangent, have you ever tried an Inktober challenge? I mean, I've done Inktober a couple times. I might even do it this year, but I'm not decided yet.
And Jenny asks Ryan a very peculiar question. She asks Ryan if a person like Toon Critic could ever be forgiven. To which Ryan says, yes, someone that Ryan himself admitted was a nonce. To
kill yourself immediately.
To be fair, maybe Ryan said that because that's just what Jenny wanted to hear because she has this moral standard. Jenny being the well-put-together...
I'm willing to give groomers that haven't offended a chance to, get professional help, seek therapy, all that, so long as they never did the deed. If they're groomers, then they've done the deed. Grooming's an action.
The crypto shill that she is seems to miss the fact that being a groomer means that you have groomed. You can't be a groomer that hasn't offended. That's like saying a murderer that hasn't offended. Because fair is fair, we wanted to hear directly from the man muster Kota.
I'm a not offending murderer.
Horse's mouth. So we had Mac ask Ryan directly. Here's what he says. Mr.
I need to think. I mean, there's obviously all the gross crap he told Jedobred. But that's gross crap, not like actual crimes. Honestly, a lot of things in the Gentlebred log, thinking Toon Critic can be forgiven, doing a sexual roleplay involving the CMC from LP, gotcha. All those 5 okay. 1, blank. This did my friend Jackson thinking he was cool. I don't think Zach can be forgiven. Jackson has changed his mind in him as well. So the person was an adult that I did it with. Thank you, Strawberry Milk, for the gifted membership.
Perfect passed the buck. Ryan only told this to Jenny in a private DM, which he had no reason to assume that anyone else would ever see ever, because apparently Yoda Jax thought that Zach could be forgiven because he thought that Zachary Hayes was cool. You know, the edgelord dipshit who had his hat thrown into a toilet at an event. Now, Yoda Jax is a fucked up individual himself, and we'll get to that in the next chapter. But Ryan, that is a very serious allegation, and as much as
Yoda Jax needs to be bullied to death.
I'd love to take Ryan at his word here, the DMs between him and Jenny give us a plausible second possibility. Maybe Ryan thinks that Toon Critic could be forgiven because he sees a lot of the guy himself. A cringe YouTuber with very specific demons. And I use the word demons very intentionally.
I heard that people get thoughts for children often grow up being abused. That's the weirdest way in the world you could say that. I wonder if me constantly being abused by my mother could have contributed to me having inner demons. I hate this man. I hate this man with every fiber of my being. I hate him with what the Bible calls a perfect hatred. Well, imagine being taken advantage of and thinking as you grew. Maybe it's okay. This is okay to do. What is okay to do, you little weirdo? There's some things I saw that my brother once had on his laptop that were questionable. Unfortunately, I've never been able to prove it. It was a long time ago. What?
Up to this point in these videos, I haven't called Ryan a nonce. I called him an abuser, a pervert, a degenerate, even a
say the word pedophile.
Child groomer. But when you call someone out for having that very specific inclination, you really do need to have them dead to rights, because it's not a term that you want to water down. But you know, when someone goes out of their way and just flat out fucking admits it,
I hope they're healing me too. I am serious when I say I never want to F a minor, but I'm also saying that I used to almost want to. I'm 25. I don't want to be with someone over a decade younger than me. I have nightmares about this kind of stuff. I tell myself, no, I will not ever be a pedophile. You can't make me groom children, inner demons. I hate child pornography. I won't ever have sex with a minor. Does Ryan need, unironically, an exorcism?
February of 2022, Ryan starts having some very scary discussions. So,
please don't talk to me about pedophilia again. It's disgusting. I'm not a pedophile. I won't have sex with minors. I never saw any child pornography. I never asked a minor to have them share their genitals with me. It's gross. Same here. I hate them in the topic too. Agreed. Any urges that I have had are in the past. This is why I only talk to adults for a reason. Brother!
Some very gross discussions that you shouldn't have with anyone. Maybe to God before you burn in hell. Ryan claims,
in my younger years, the term pedophile was never a thing I thought of back then. Now I think of it all the time, now to prevent myself from talking to minors, because I hate pedophiles, and I don't want them having sex with children or seeing child genitals. Amen. I still remember this one group of people that nearly tricked me as an adult in wanting to have sex with a kid. I'm not stating who, though, because they obviously... Why wouldn't you? And on top of that, how can you be tricked into wanting to have sex with a kid? Like... What? 328 crash for $2, 12 gauge tasting party for all involved. Yes.
Claims that being abused by his brother contributes to him having, as he calls them, inner demons, which I guess I will also call them as it's advertiser friendly enough. Ryan claims that he may have found questionable...
Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there are not people who have been sexually abused who turn around and repeat that abuse cycle. There are. But I don't know what abuse he's talking about here. But if your mom, like, beats you and calls you gay, it's unlikely you're going to want to touch a kid because of it. That's not how the abuse cycle works.
Things on his brother's PC. The same brother that he later accuses of having smeared murder across the wall. Also, a quick reminder, in the document that Ryan wrote about KP, he stated that if you don't report someone to the authorities, you're just as bad as the abuser, and he will never take that statement back. So, Ryan states that in his younger years, people tried to make him
Ace Mantis paid $92, called the police and a priest. Yes.
Do something that would have put him behind bars. And then he gives a little bit of context as to why he was so obsessed with talking about the Toon Critics of the world. Because apparently, it prevents himself from talking to minors. While he says that he never wanted to do the deed with a minor, he claims that he used to almost want to. I don't know what that means. I want to burn myself alive. The most damn...
No, enter. Suicide's never the answer. Homicide's the answer.
thing here is this message here, where he asks, what if I went through with that blue thing? This means that Ryan knows that something is a little bit wrong. I mean, he has to. It's in this whole talk about the worst perversion possible. You know, right before asking this question here. Speaking of questions, though, I have one for you, the audience.
All Ryan has said is that his brother punched him for eating his boogers. I mean, that's just correction.
If you had a friend that came up to you and started speaking even half of the stuff...
Allegedly, Ryan was diddled by one of his cousins who straight up got arrested for molesting 2 children. Well, I'm sorry that happened. But, no, it's not justification.
Quarter of this stuff.
Not that I'm saying it is to you, I'm just saying that no.
You know, talking about these specific thoughts for minors, how would you react? And before you give your answer, maybe consider, what if they were your self-admitted soulmate? Would that change the conversation? Because I have to...
No, it wouldn't change the conversation at all to me. I'd tell them to die immediately.
Mind you, this conversation happened in February 2022, and I reiterate, the chat logs continue until March of 2024, and my second video on Ryan came out. For more than 2 years, Jenny just sits there with a smile, talking to this now admitted nonce for years. And keep in mind, addressing my abuse came
well, if you consider that maybe the pedophile's nice to them. I mean, obviously.
Out after this. She knew all of this and still decided to testify on Ryan's behalf. I guess she sees it as true love, like Romeo and Juliet. And like Romeo and
I hope they both die.
Juliet, they do something so stupid, it ends up getting the both of them killed by their own hands. Looking at the Jeddah
Masterpiece criteria for $5, and to think I worked for Ryan when I was a minor at this point, he is as bad as Lily Orchard or even worse. I can't say that because Lily apparently did sexually assault people. We don't have any evidence that Ryan did that. But both should die horrifically.
Logs as a test of your own sanity. Ryan might not have believed that Necopon was a predator. Side note, he actually absolutely did, and here's him admitting it right here. And he also figured out that Ray Rance was a groomer too, somehow, in 2022. To be fair, Ryan did add Ray Rance to the ban list, and he said this about him in addressing my abuse.
Something to the effect of, Ray Rance, you shouldn't talk about me when there are severe allegations against you. I'm not looking for a 5-second clip in 3 hours of nonsense. For the record, enter. Transcripts exist for a reason, my dude. It could have been found pretty easily.
Which is more than he said about Necopon, despite her allegations being far more public and more on the face of it confirmed.
I don't know anything present about Necopon, so people saying I had in my server knowingly for 8 months are all liars.
Apparently...
No, you did know. You all knew.
Ray Rance victim coming out to talk to Ryan worked, yet Necopon's victim coming to talk to him didn't for some reason. Even with that being said, Ryan apparently wanted to PR bullshit his way through this, which is, you know, nice. However, the most disturbing part of the Jeddah logs is how much they changed the context of things we thought we already knew. They talk about Shonur in this a bit. If you don't remember, Shonur was a bully. He was also a Sandy Hook supporter. Not a truther, a supporter. By that, I mean that he supported the shooting.
I found this conversation that Shonur had on DeviantArt, where he compared rebooting a cartoon series to that of the Sandy Hook massacre.
What? What? Ha! The cartoon community was a mistake and needs to die.
Also justifies the shooting by saying this. I actually think Sandy Hook was somewhat of a miracle since it felt satisfying knowing that little kids similar to the ones that bullied me in 1st grade got their comeuppance. And a miracle like that is the opposite of a burden like this.
So... over 40 years ago, our president was Ronald Reagan. And there's a lot of things that he did that weren't good. Trickle-down economics, what was done to the black community. But I think, unironically, one of the worst things he ever did was took a look at our asylums, our mental health facilities, and instead of regulating them better, instead of revamping them, keeping them up to date, making sure staff weren't abusing their patients, he just wholesale closed them all down. Because people like this should not be part of the regular human populace. I'm not joking. This isn't a funny haha. This person needs to be in an asylum. No sane, decent human being with any fervor of intelligence would ever say something this unhinged. And I'll make this very clear. I have very strong opinions about cartoons. All right? It is one of my truest things I love. I would never say anything horrifically like this. If I had to have 1 billion horrific reboots of all the different things I like, and it meant no child got shot, brother, do the reboots, who cares? These were children with real lives that he's projecting bullying from when they themselves were a child onto to people who were innocent. So not only do I hope this person gets bullied more, I hope they get bullied to the point to where they finally give up on life and do humanity a favor and remove themselves from it. Emperor Volcano for $10. The main difference between Lily Orchard and Ryan is dumber than a sack of diapers. Lily's not all that smart either. They're just different types of stupid. The trickle-down economics didn't create the world of 80s and 90s cartoons. The deregulation of children's media did. Not the same thing.
Yo, what the fuck?
But most importantly, the guy seemed to have an addiction to drawing the underage character Hilda in a bikini. Then one day, he posted an actual picture of an actual minor in a bikini to his Twitter. Ever since then, Ryan has given 5 different stories as to why he kicked Shonur to the curb.
And no, it's not just Mongol that accused you of being a foul. Jedabred's family did as well. Why did her family do that to me? Because I was going over screenshots of my former artist that was being a creep. My artist Shonur would love to draw the character Hilda from Hilda, an 11-year-old girl, in sexual clothing, and not age her up at all. I once called Hilda my waifu, like in 2019, but I thought that just meant a favorite character, not sexual favorite, so I learned around—
I don't believe him, frankly.
On that time to not do that. For Sean, dozens of people on my server complained to me about this, and this was all of last year. It wasn't just like a single day. This was like for a while. But I was a nice person and decided to let this person continue to be on my server because I'm an idiot. Apparently I'm an idiot. I just on occasion would delete his art, but not all the time. Then one day he posted a real picture of a girl the same age as Hilda in a bikini on his Twitter. Now he claims that it's his cousin, but it's not the legal shit that was bothering me. It was the fact that he kept doing this shit, even being told numerous times to not do it. I DM'd him on Discord to make sure what he was doing was legal, and he told me it was.
You know, I'm just gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be the prude that I always am. If you're having to draw children at a beach for animation or whatever, put them in 1920s swimwear. Avoids the whole problem. This person's a freak, and the fact that Ryan's like, well, they're like the fictional one, so clearly it's not a problem. Die.
Was. Seeing a minor in a bikini is legal, but either way, I told him to not do it again. Then just a couple hours
yeah, sure.
later, he would post a picture of Hilda again in a sexual manner, and had a fictional adult in the background in love with her with hearts around this man that looked 30 years old. I blocked Sean right then and there because I warned him numerous times in just a couple weeks, and it wasn't from months ago. This is actually fresh in everyone's memory, and he only asked on Twitter a couple of weeks after. This was all 2022. I told him everything, and that was the last straw that I heard from him. When I was showing all of this to Jedabred, explaining why I fired said artist and why my girlfriend Leslie banned Sean from my server, Jed's mom came in and saw this, and thought that I hosted a child sex trafficking.
And I have a hard time believing that it was...
So absurd! That's amazing.
Due to Shonur's perversion. When Ryan was into Hilda, he allegedly had the username Sexy Giantess Hilda Waifu. His defense later on call was that he didn't know what waifu meant, which sure, let's go with that. Ryan, what does Sexy Giantess mean? You want to know the truth? You want to know why Ryan finally got rid of Shonur? Because Jenny saw all of this, and her family threatened to pull her internet access. Jenny...
They should have. End her life.
Is a grown-ass woman, by the way. Yeah, her family sees this kind of shit that Shonur is up to and threatens to pull her internet access. Ryan panics, and to keep Jenny, he boots Shonur. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. If new context on old degenerates wasn't enough, how about some new context on new degenerates? We got to learn about a couple more perverts throughout all of this. Introducing Fairy Dooney. Or maybe it's Dunny, I don't care. Ryan made a list of how June is the worst month of his life every year. Hopefully you're seeing this video in June. I unfortunately started it a tad bit late.
It's okay. We'll keep kicking the can down the road for you, Enter.
This year. But Ryan goes on and on about things that are more or less established in this list, or otherwise irrelevant. However, the odd one here is 2022. Dooney...
Power Loud Girl blocks me. I think I know who that is. I think they're one of the people who mediated a call between them and Misanthropony.
Leaves me. Matt tried to get some follow-up information.
You know, let me ask you this. You were listing off all the stuff that made you unhappy in June. Who's Dunny? What is that?
Oh, that was a friend of mine named Fairy Dunny who left. They claimed she was another on my server, but no, not even. She's just an artist that I really like. I don't know why she left. I don't think it had anything to do with my accusations. I think she just had a similar problem to Chelsea, just severe depression.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. I was just gonna say, what the hell is it that makes them think she's a foul?
That one I do not know. Like others, I can kind of claim, even Brandon when I don't agree. But for Fairy Dunny, I cannot answer that. Oh wait, I think I have an idea.
328 crash for $5. It costs $1,825 to feed a prisoner for a year. It costs 0.003 cents to flip an electric switch. I know which option I prefer. Lethal injection is probably better. Or firing squad. We could go back to that.
He posted NSFW work in a server full of minors, and I don't think she was allowed to do that.
Oh, okay. Well, no, you're not allowed to do that.
Well, yeah, I know, but I don't know if she did it intentionally or accidentally. But I don't know if that was my. No, it wasn't my server. I didn't have it. But I heard she posted it elsewhere.
No, yeah, okay.
But then again, that was rumored. I cannot answer for the life of me if that's true or not.
So, who is Fairy Dooney? Apparently, she was just someone who posted LioCon in Ryan's server, repeatedly, after being told not to.
That?
Even despite all of this, Ryan didn't want her to leave, though, and was sad about it when she did, even though what she was apparently posting was, And of course, Jedabred has always got Ryan's back, saying, this is where my thoughts can get me killed. Jenny, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? This isn't an optional question. And if that's not bad enough, it gets worse. Like, a lot worse. Remember how I said that all this led to a police investigation? Why don't you guys just call the police?
And if you want any evidence, just ask my Discord friends. Leaked our entire Discord conversation that we ever made to my friends and to the police, who called me around Christmas of 2020, which once again was easy to debunk because there was nothing sexual going on when she was a minor.
Yeah, people have tried that. I've tried that. We've tried that multiple times. May I bring your attention back to the ban list? If you're just joining us, Ryan had this very, very strange list. If you were on the ban list, not only could you not go into Ryan's Discord server, you were also not allowed to be talked about either. He was a hypocrite about this, but that was the established rule. And the list contains basically every...
Oh, let me take a look back at this. I need to see something.
Yeah, people have tried that. I've tried that. We've tried that multiple times. May I bring your attention back?
Jello Apocalypse, con artist, the completionist, Joe Biden. It's okay. Joe Biden will never be allowed to start Giant server. It's Jover.
Back to the ban list. If you're just joining us, Ryan had this very, very strange list. If you were on the ban list, not only could you not go...
Sniper Wolf, Tara Strong.
Went to Ryan's Discord server, you were also not allowed to be talked about either. He was a hypocrite about this, but that was the established rule. And the list contains basically every drama situation he had vaguely even heard about.
I need a copy of this. I think Phineas sent me one a while ago. I need a fresh one. I need to look over this. This sounds amazing. Sounds amazing!
Now, some people I can kind of understand, like, talking about Onision is probably uncomfortable to anyone. Of course, others are just random lolcows that no one should care about. Like, the quartering is on this list. Personally, I'd love to talk about a guy who tried so hard to sell mediocre coffee that he literally ruined his entire life. There's a story there. Could fill up 4 hours by itself. Of course, we got the list. We tried to figure out who everyone was, because some of them may have had relevant experiences, testimonies, or information. However, figuring out who the more private individuals were ended up being a bit of a challenge. Former editors were pretty easy, but, like, random people who made videos on Ryan were also included. And then you had this guy, Perp Doctor, also known as the Executive, or another name that I can't show you because apparently it's a racial slur, which is, you know, nice. At the time, we couldn't find much.
Severus, $5. Lion, it's time for Operation Nightfall. After that Sandy Hook comic, dang YT censor. I don't know what that means, but okay.
About them. They did seem to have a controversial history, but by 2024, when we investigated all this, most of their internet presence was already new. The most we could really get is they used to be a DeviantArt user. However, that was before we had the help of good old Jenny, the best investigator ever, because she has this enchanting effect that gets Ryan to just say shit she just sat on. So Ryan goes up to Jenny and says, I found out one of my friends was a nonce. You know, like you do. And then, oh no.
Well, hold on.
And to do that, he sends Jenny, an image. Now, if you're at all curious about the image attachment, it was not archived, we never received it. Sometimes when people archive Discord chat logs, a lot of images die, which is what happened here. So I am going to make this doubly, triply, super explicitly clear so everyone in the cheap seats knows what's going on. The investigation team did not receive this image, ever. I cannot speak to what it actually is. If Ryan...
Y'all are lucky, because it says here, that drawing above is based off real-life school second graders. There was much more explicit from them, but I deleted all that. Wonderful company.
Is being accurate about it, or if he's lying and making shit up. I don't know. And to be honest with you, I really don't want to know. However, here is the fact of the matter. At this juncture, Ryan believed that what he had was CSAM, or he was claiming that it was for no reason. What he makes it appear like...
Shadowstar for $2. Ryan, Buddha Cat and I won on the ban list. Don't worry. Don't worry, everybody will be by the end of this.
Is that he actually has it, though. Then he sends what he says he believes to be CSAM. Because I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the pile of goo these two call brains. I mean, if there's someone who could put insight to all of this, it would be Jetta Bread themselves, because that image probably still exists in her DMs with Ryan's old account, all images completely available for her viewing pleasure. We would have called the police on her too. Unfortunately, no one on the team knew her actual name or where she actually lived. All we knew is that she lived in jolly old England, and as long as she's not making edgy Twitter joke posts, the UK government doesn't care what you do. But this also bears...
Congratulations, Inter has learned that the police often don't do anything anyways.
Repeating for everyone who keeps bringing this up to me. We did call the police on Ryan here, and you're probably wondering how that turned out.
You know, in my lifetime, I think I dealt with the cops, I want to say 5 times.
Yeah.
3 were for speeding, 1 was for what happened earlier this year, and 1 time was me calling the wrong number.
When the cops came to your house, what was that like? I mean, damn, what was your... I'm just wondering.
Well, I don't know what happened the first time because I was at my job, but the next day I was off and the guy came. It was just one guy for the record. He was a detective, but I could tell he was a police officer because I saw all the official badges and stuff. And it felt like an actual interrogation. I had to show him stuff, like he had to confirm it, and he was like, all right, I don't think you did it.
So, wait, what all did you have to show him? What was he asking for? I'm just curious. I just wondered what, like...
Messages, Discord servers had to confirm some things.
Oh, okay.
He never did specify who the report was from, so it could have been anyone.
For the sake of completeness, this is what Ryan has to say about Mr. 996 now.
This is a powerful cope. I like the music, though.
So, there's two options here. Ryan was either spreading vile-ass rumors about someone in 2024, or he's lying to hell and back to save his own ass now. Remember, he referred to this guy as a friend.
328 Crash for $5 unrelated to Star Giants drama. Lio, did you ever watch or get old Street Shark figures? Personal favorite of mine. No, can't say I did. Although Hive, one of my admins, likes Street Sharks.
Not just some random person that he heard about through the grapevine. Bringing the story back to the topic at hand. Jedabred is a person who sees nothing wrong with noncery of any variety, including Ryan's own. Because beyond knowing about Ryan's demonic thoughts, she knew about Ryan's victim Blue. And Ryan talks about Blue with Jedabred explicitly more than he has at any other time in history. Also, Jenny was like the only person who knew about Ryan's other grooming victim. Yes, I said other grooming victim. Ryan has two. Actually, wait. Let's see. There's Blue, there's West, there's Kota, and let's call this new one Red. Okay, so far we discovered that Ryan has 4 grooming victims. 4 is the number when something becomes serial, right? Now, if you're wondering why my content has been a little bit sparse this year, investigating this is a good part of the reason as to why. We will be talking about Red by the end of this video. You'll know a good deal of the story by the end of all this. Again, I'm going to keep Red anonymous. You're going to know, like, the actual story to tell by the end of this video, but once again, don't go looking them up or anything like that for their own sake. So all of that's disturbing and horrifying and maddening. You want to know what the most sad part about all this is? By the end of these discussions, Jedabred was souring on Ryan, and you probably want to know what was finally beyond the pale. Well, as far as I could tell, it was 3 separate things. 1, Ryan promised to stop being so obsessive about me after addressing my abuse backfired. That promise was one he couldn't keep. He was going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And this clearly annoyed Jedabred. You know, more than the sexual thoughts that Ryan had for underage people at least. Second thing, someone asked Ryan to co-sign a loan, and he agreed, without knowing what co-signing a loan meant. And so he started panicking to hell and back, thinking that he'd be on the line if this person neglected to pay back said loan, which was at least very funny to watch. But the final breaking point, the one where I could see Jedabred falling out of love, so to speak, was the whole Witches campaign. Not the crowdfunding from a Dilka ripoff. No, it was him getting conned out of any earnings. She gets fully annoyed and rightfully blames Ryan for his own idiocy here. And after that, she's kind of pretty cold towards him. That might be the actual reason that we have these DMs to begin with. So I guess we can thank that campaign for one thing at least. And I get that this is all a lie, but despite going on for 10 pages about this one character, I'm just giving you the cliff notes. Like, there was a ton of other things that we uncovered in these DMs that aren't very important. Like, there's a part where Ryan believes that Native Americans are a different species, which, you know, is just what? This is a belief that he apparently still holds to this day, by the way. Spicy Mac and people on the archive channel come up with a nice name for Ryan. Red Ryan, because he's surprisingly racist. Maybe that's why he hangs out with Brandon the Brony Pony. We've been going on for quite a while already, but believe it or not, this video isn't going to be entirely about Jedabred. We actually still have 2 other clowns to get to before the circus act is over. However, Kota wanted to share a few words too, and about Jenny. So if you'll pardon an interlude, I'm going to give him the floor before we move on to Yoda Jax. Maddie has also already done a video on Jedabred, back when the wounds were fresh. I'd also recommend watching that if you'd like some additional context and his words on the whole situation.
Good evening. My name is Kota, editor, artist, and friend of John, and member of the Star Giant investigation team. I'm also ex-friends with Jedabred, and the one who she sent the DMs with Ryan to. I admittedly don't have terribly much to say regarding the DMs themselves that hasn't already been said by John or Maddie in their own respective videos. I would, however, given the opportunity, like to shed some more light onto what it's actually like being Jenny's friend, because in hindsight, the similarities between her and Ryan in terms of behavior and personality are a bit more than I would have cared to admit a couple of years ago. When she first approached me, I didn't even realize that I was talking with someone on Ryan's team. She was a brand new account on Twitter who started commenting on all of my art posts and showed up to my small-time art stream to give me tons of high love and praise. Even then, it was kind of weird. It kind of felt like love bombing in a way, but weird people on Twitter are what they are, so this didn't really stand out to me at the time as something more. On this new account, she went under the name Binkjin, or maybe Binkgin, I don't think it really matters. They are the same person as admitted here, and going forward, I'll just be referring to them as Jenny. Late 2022, she joined my Discord server, messaged me about getting some art. She had me help design her a new persona form, and everything was mostly normal, except for the part where she started going off about buyer's remorse, despite apparently really wanting this stuff from me. I ended up shrugging it off, and we talked for like another year or so, on and off. Although when I say we talked, it was more so her coming into my DMs be like, hey, wanna be friends? Hey, why don't you come around in your server more? And I'm like, yo, I have like work and stuff, and life, and also you're not really bringing any conversation topics for me to work with, so up to now it just kind of comes off as an odd person who doesn't really know how to socialize well, but so is like half of everyone else on the internet. Hell, I've been there. Then one day she sends me this emotional event wall. Keep in mind, by this point we still weren't really close at all. This kind of just came out of nowhere, and I was really unprepared for it, and had like no idea how to react to it at the time. Then the next day comes around, and she's messaging me again, demanding to know why I'm not liking her post or replying to her or following her on Twitter or whatever, saying I'm ignoring her, and I'm like, yo, I still barely know who you are, and it's been like a year, and you made no effort to really bother to talk to me aside from just be like, hey, wanna be friends? Oh, hey, wanna be friends? Like, I'll follow you, can you follow me? Like, here's my Twitter. Like, come on, bro. And I kind of explained this to her, and she's like, yeah, all right, whatever, I'm not mad, just kind of wondering. And then the next day she does it again, and at this point I'm straight up like, yo, this parasocial clingy bullshit is getting on my nerves, you need to like stop. And then, you know, she goes on her little pity party of like, oh, I feel so left out, you know, why do you give other people attention and not me? It's not fair. And then casually she just decides she's gonna drop the mask, but she's gonna do it in like this really weird way where she's trying to keep it like, oh, a bit of a mystery, like, ooh, you know, we have a bit of a backstory, you know, believe it or not, and like just eagles into the camera. It's like, oh, our past selves interact, but our bosses did, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck, this ain't slick. She tells me she's Jedabred, she tells me that she like edits sometimes and also did like an intro for Ryan when he was too lazy to do it himself. And at this point I'm kind of conflicted because like the past year she's already proven herself to be like kind of parasocial, annoying little bitch, but also this person from Ryan's circle has specifically come out to seek me. So in my head I'm kind of thinking maybe if she just like has like an actual fucking friend, because God knows how Ryan treated her, right? Maybe she'll even like get away from Ryan and like maybe learn some more normal behavior. So, you know, I was really naive back then and I still regret it. And in the times that we were closer like this, she didn't get better, not really. In fact, it probably got even worse. A lot of her behavior was already documented in Maddie's video and his own experiences with Jenny. She talked a lot about like not getting commissions and me specifically, how I got more commissions than her. It was always like, oh my God, you're so much younger than me and yet you get all these commissions and I only get like one, or like 2 council. Like, how do you get so much business but you're so young? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Just the art game is what it is. Even when
So, gonna make this real simple. You kind of got to get yourself out there. You got to have the skills for it, and you've got to be able to actually talk to people. Like, there's a lot of people who are very skilled artists who don't get business because they are very bad at being people persons.
went out of her way at one point to point out a specific user on the internet, be like, oh my god, this person has so many commissions in the gallery, and they like commissioned you, and they commissioned all these other artists, but I can't get them to commission me. Like why does nobody want to buy from me? And I'm like, okay, I won't comment on like the quality of her art specifically because art has always been a subjective thing to me. And honestly, even finding the confidence and self-worth to put your own work online and charge for it is an achievement in and of itself. But complaining about not getting work, and especially pointing out other users for it, is tacky and generally a poor look. And to me, at least, it was obvious that she was still like learning the art game, the social game. Like everything was always about the numbers to her, which I get that's just how social media works. It's all about the numbers with that. But like she was expecting to be on the levels of like popular artists in the community like immediately when she was only at like a few hundred or whatever. Even when she did get more followers on Twitter or whatever, she was still upset that she wasn't getting the engagement she was looking for. She'd go on and on about being super jealous about me and my apparent success because I get social numbers for drawing dumbass fur babies for a niche audience on the internet and she doesn't. And I'm friends with a YouTuber who talks about cartoons who gets more numbers than Ryan did. I don't know how this makes me worthy of being jealous over, but here we fucking are, I guess. I don't know. It was invasive enough to the point where apparently she's having dreams about me. I shouldn't have to say that this kind of obsession over me was creepy, right? Because I was a little creeped out by it. And in retrospect, it makes certain conversations and moments that we had kinda weird. Like Ryan, she sometimes had a tendency to overshare stuff that she really shouldn't. Stuff about her personal life, her personal like body issues, you know, that kind of thing. And oftentimes she would fixate on romance specifically. Like she was getting jealous over like me and Wes's relationship. That alone was kind of whatever to me at the time, but then I look back on moments like this. Now, the place that the screenshot was taken from is an explicitly adult place, and we're adults talking about adult things. You can kind of fill in the gaps here, I think. I go back and forth whether or not I consider this some kind of harassment towards me. Considering just how parasocial she's been throughout our entire time talking with each other, it makes me wonder. I do feel like her forward nature is kind of boundary pushing here, which, considering her conversations with Ryan that were going on. Oh yeah, funny story. In trying to get Ryan to make up and be friends with me, she had Ryan make a new alt and a new persona form for himself, which I recognized almost immediately because the hairstyle was like the exact same as Ryan's normal avatar. I'm guessing character design is just neither of these person's strong suit. The idea of bringing Ryan into a community that he outwardly called creepy in his addressing my abuse video kind of made me feel a little, icky. And at the time, I didn't know all the other surrounding bullshit that Ryan was a part of, and there was still a part of me that somehow thought maybe he could possibly change to just not be a dick, so I didn't really say much about it at the time. Not a whole lot really came of Jenny trying to get the two of us to be friends again. Ryan did end up in a voice call with me, though, for like a few minutes to watch an art stream in a mutual group that we were in. He still didn't say anything because he didn't want to start shit, and he knew that I would recognize him immediately. Even in dealing with all of Jenny's bullshit, I still tried to be the best friend to her that I could be. When the March video dropped, I was there with her in DMs, just trying to make sure she was okay, because I didn't know really what she was like with Ryan behind the scenes. I didn't know how much she actually knew. I was there just trying to reassure her, like, hey, you know, she's gonna be fine, you know, we're gonna be here for you if you need, like, counseling or whatever for your friend being a total piece of garbage. And then she sent over her DM logs, which if only any of us actually had, like, decent equipment to actually read the shit at the time, like, goddamn, if only we knew. Because like I could say, if I saw, like, half the shit that was in those logs, that friendship would have been over, like, right then and there, I swear to God. Like, if I knew, like, how persistent she was about, like, getting Ryan into, like, our shared little thing, like, I genuinely felt secondhand embarrassment when John and the team were reading through all that. I felt secondhand embarrassment reading the uncut fucking testimony that she did for addressing my abuse. How she tried to describe that, I didn't need to see that. As it turned out, though, I didn't need any of that information at the time to break things off with her, because only, like, a few months later, I ended up not being friends with her anymore, because I found out how much of a piece of shit that she was being in a mutual group that we were in, ruining game nights because she wasn't getting things her way, and she started stealing from other people, being really sad posting and bitching more about not getting commissions and comparing herself to me, taking advantage of another person in the group that we were both friends with to keep being toxic in the group, and then not being honest with me when I tried to confront her about it. And then talking with my other friends helped me realize that, hey, you know, this person is being kind of weird with you, she's kind of taking advantage of you, you know, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna bring things off with her. And then when I finally do, and I'm like, hey, you know, I'm gonna finish this trade that we're working on, and then we're done. This is not a healthy thing, you know, you're not mentally well. I feel like being around me is just gonna make you worse. And then she starts being like, no, please be friends with me, please be friends with me. And I'm like, no, you know, this shit that you're doing with other people, you're being really mean, like these other people that I care about, like I just can't have that. And she gets all sad posty and like guilt trippy. And then the last conversation that we had, she self-admittedly gets drunk and then tries to guilt trip me some more and be like, oh, I'm someone worth keeping around, you know, you want to be friends with me, and then starts screaming at me and then tries to bring Dar into our personal shit, someone who I personally have never really talked to and had absolutely nothing to do with why I was breaking things off with her. If my energy seems a little up and down in this recording, I had to take a lot of breaks. I had to try to like hype myself back up. Thinking about Jenny again is really difficult. Like, even after we stopped being friends, there was still a part of me it's like, okay, she's still a victim of Ryan in some way, shape, or form. She was probably conditioned by him to act this way, and maybe she was, but I didn't know to what extent until John was finally able to get those like DMs open in a way that didn't completely crash everything. And then we all read through them, and I wanted to die. Jenny, if you're still online and watching this, I hope you realize that you only have yourself to blame for whatever reputation that you have at this point. You had people who wanted to help you, and you pushed them all away, and instead you put your trust into a mentally deranged person who's done like genuinely heinous shit. You say that I'm a tough nut to crack for not giving you the attention you want? Maybe this is why I don't bother giving people much attention and go out talking to people anymore. Because the people who vie for my attention as much as you did turn out to be crazy motherfuckers who get into some crazy fucked up shit that I don't want anything to do with and would be better off in my life not knowing about. But you wanted my attention so badly? You got it. You got me to open up to you, and you showed me why it was a bad idea. Twice. So I hope you're happy.
And to anybody out there who shits on her, claiming that they know the kind of beast she is, take her from someone who knows her in the real world. Yeah, that's right. I know Rebecca outside the internet. As a matter of fact, we're neighbors.
The team and I started with a place of sympathy for Yoda Jax. He was in a position that I wouldn't envy anyone to be in. I wouldn't say it was easy to get everyone else away from Stargiant, but there was a simplicity in the action. Through the internet, all you have to do is just stop talking.
Why do you play with puppets? And that's a red flag. Hey, everyone. You know, there's a bunch of videos about this guy. I don't play with puppets. What's he talking about? She's talking about the bird? The bird's an eldritch entity, okay? I wouldn't piss off the bird. He'll be coming back soon enough.
Talking to the guy. Just block him on all channels. End of story. However, there was a complication with Yoda Jax. He lives near Ryan. Not quite next door, but close enough that they know each other in real life, and they frequently hang out in person. And considering that Ryan is more than a little bit unpredictable, and more than a little bit very unstable, we can, to an extent, accept keeping the peace for safety purposes. And Ryan does not treat Yoda Jax well. At all. At this point in time, I don't like Yoda Jax. I have no sympathy for Yoda Jax, but I'm not going to lie to you. And Ryan treats Yoda Jax horribly. I'm going to let the chips fall.
Cool. Yoda Jackson's an idiot then and deserves everything he gets. Just gonna be blunt.
Where the truth makes him land. Because to be honest with you, it tells a worse story than if I were to make Yoda Jax look like a person with no willful agency of his own. This also applies to Chelsea as well. Ryan made a plan this year. A big surprise for Jackson's birthday. Ryan was going to get them to move out with another work friend named Julian. Julian's unimportant, don't worry about him right now. Ryan was just going to spring this on Jackson. All they needed was $6,000 a month for some reason. This also ignores the minor little detail where Ryan just recently got laid off from his job and is living on unemployment, which he uses to go to conventions and trauma dump on celebrities. Someone warned Chugga Conroy, by the way. He's one of the celebrities that Ryan wants to hit up. Despite...
I did not need to see Ryan in a Sailor Mars outfit. You leave that woman alone.
You know, and I know what you're thinking. Ryan has gone on record saying that he hates people who moved off the government. But to the people who say that, you're wrong. Ryan hates disability. Unemployment is fine because Ryan Kraleski actually gets that. As I mentioned, Ryan blamed Yoda Jax for thinking Toon Critic could be forgiven. He blamed Yoda Jax for making him spend too much on fast food. If there's blame to be passed, Yoda Jax is the first guy to get it. And with all that being said, we thought that we should inform Yoda Jax about this little habit of Ryan's. But Yoda Jax repeatedly proved that he doesn't want to talk to us. We tried multiple angles, multiple approaches, multiple people. And every single time, we were shut down. Are you still friends with Stargiant? I don't like talking about personal issues, thank you. I don't want to talk about this. It's not my business to get involved. Let me deal with this in my own way, please. If you're wondering, Jackson's way of dealing with this in his own way is to not deal with this at all and still remain besties with Ryan.
I think to cheer Jackson up, I was going to do a top 10 worst and best South Park episodes for his birthday.
Oh, really? As of last week, he was sitting on the couch with a guy watching South Park. Let me be blunt. In this game, there is no neutral move. You cannot be friends with an outed groomer and now a self-admitted nonce and be a neutral party. This is very much a, you're either without Ryan or we're all very much against you. You either kick a groomer to the curb or you're a groomer apologist. Plain and simple. It'd be one thing if Jax didn't believe the evidence, but he very much knows the state that Ryan's life is in. They recently went to a convention. Ryan recently got a photograph with voice actor Katie Griffin. She apparently wanted to post it to Instagram, but Jackson managed to convince the both of them not to post it because Jackson knows that if Ryan posted it, it would be controversial because Jackson knows that Ryan is a groomer. And by all accounts, he is completely 100% A-okay with that. This is despite the fact that Ryan doesn't give two shits about Jackson or what he thinks. After this event, Ryan was very disappointed and he kept getting hung up on it. He was so disappointed that he went behind Jackson's back and went back to the convention on his own. This is an hours-long drive, by the way, you know, despite him complaining about gas prices all the time. It's okay, I guess. It's not Ryan's money, it's free money from the government, or from the taxpayers, I guess. Ryan then paid to get into the convention again, and paid for another photograph with Katie Griffin, which he had her post to Instagram, which led to the exact same backlash that Jackson thought would happen when Crimson raised the alarm. Yes, this really did happen. Here's the first photo, and here's the second one. Same crossplay, but the second one is a lot rougher, a lot messier, like he put it back on in a hurry. Also, let's not ignore the minor little detail of Ryan cross-dressing, while thinking that when other people do it or talk about it, it's perverted. It's not my business to get involved. Yes, it is, Jackson. Yes, it is. Let me state this in plain text. Ryan's life was blown up because he was friendly with an outed and admitted groomer named Necopon. He let her stay in his circles. In your circles, Jackson. Jackson, it is just as much your business to get involved in this as it was his business to get involved with Necopon. There are no neutral moves here. There's no, I don't want to play this game. I would say that you're guilty of the exact same sin, but that's not entirely true. You're guilty of worse, Jackson. See, Ryan fervently defended Necopon's actions. While he never quite said that she was innocent, he always said that he couldn't determine that she was guilty without the court's approval. You know, at least in public. However, on Jackson's end, with the action that he took over this convention shows that he knows something is up in Ryan's life. I have no idea why anyone on Earth would go to bat so hard for Ryan Kraleski, the admitted nonce and groomer. Actually, that's not entirely true, because there is one person we do know about who would do so, but they did it because they called him her soulmate. Is that what's going on here, Jackson? Is that why you're doing this? And it's probably the better option, because the other one is that Jackson is truly amoral, truly heartless, and doesn't care about the very real people that Ryan hurt. The minors that Ryan hurt. The people Ryan hurt, who once called Jackson a friend. I don't like talking about personal issues. Except you fucking do, you fucking jackass. Or do you only like doing it when Ryan asks you to?
One thing I know about Rebecca is that she likes to put effort into changing herself. So if you claim Rebecca is a bad person, I say, get a reality check.
Jackson testified.
I would love to have a call with Jackson. Wouldn't you guys love to see me have a call with Jackson? I would love to have a call with Jackson. And I'll open the questioning with, why are you still alive?
In addressing my abuse. He has no excuse. He does not get to play the I don't want to get involved in drama while appearing in the worst drama video ever made. Let me put it this way. Maddie doesn't like talking about drama either, but he still gives Stargiant updates when it's important for him to do so, like throwing Jetta Bread and later Chelsea to the curb. And speaking of that video, let me be a petty little bitch for a second here. Let's take a look at the testimony again, shall we? I've ignored it before, but because I really hate Jackson, let's do this.
I worked on the premise from about 2013 to 2015, and around the time, I was a watcher of Mr. Renter. He seemed like an expert on what made both shows work, so I thought I would ask him for advice on ins and outs of what I could do. I sent him a note on DeviantArt, but he didn't respond.
So here's every single DM that Jackson ever sent me on DeviantArt. From over a decade ago. Our only correspondence ever was from 2014. The first message that he ever sent me was asking me to review his fanfiction, which at that point in history, I'm pretty sure I said I would never review fanfictions, because I did say yes to someone else, and they kept nagging me to get around to it with like 50 messages per day. It kind of drove me insane. What'd you say, Jackson?
I sent him a note on DeviantArt, but he didn't respond.
Really? I never responded? So what's this then? Even after my refusal, saying that I wasn't gonna look at it, he asks again.
I thought I was pestering him at one point in time. So I said that I was sorry, and to my surprise, he actually accepted and messaged me.
Then he does accurately recount apologizing to me. However, this apology is fake and undercut because in the same message, he asks to collab with me, because Yoda Jax is a parasocial fish. I prefer to work alone. He goes, really? Really?
Who wants a real quick Lio story time? As a break from the madness, but also because it's really freaking funny. And it is in relation to the collab thing. Type 1 in chat if you want a Lio story time real quick. I promise it's fun. Sorry, the bird has only showed up on stream once, and that was enough. Trust me, you don't need to see him very often. Okay, story time. So, there was this one loser who went by the name of Redland Ranger, who about 3 years ago, after everything had happened, decided he was going to put me in my place. He was going to give me a true thrashing and call. And he was in Putopia for a while, right? And he kept talking about how he was going to debate me and how he was going to own me. And Gallagher and everybody else like, dude, no. Lio's going to eat you alive. Even when they didn't like me, they're like, Lio is going to eat you alive. That is dumb. Don't be stupid. But it got to a point where they got so tired of hearing him want to do it, they just started encouraging him. Like, yeah, man, you're going to show him what for. So this guy would constantly be in my DMs wanting to quote-unquote interview me. And I would tell him, I don't know you, dude. And I got to a point where I was just tired of it. So I invite him to a server called Guac. And I beat the brakes off this little weirdo. Like, maybe one day I'll publish the call, but he makes an absolute mule of himself. But at the end of it, he talks about how he wants to collab with me one day. He also promised that he'd come back and have a conversation after he's cleared his head, and it would take about a year. It's been 2. He still hasn't come back. Can you imagine getting a call because you're beefing with a guy and you want to give him a real hard thrashing, and when he beats the brakes off of you, you talk about how you want to collab with him? Come on.
Really? Really? Yeah, buddy, go home. I'm making all these DMs public, by the way, so have fun with that, Jackson. And we can see how clearly inaccurate this testimony is. To some extent, I don't really blame Jackson for his testimony being wrong. These messages were exchanged in April of 2014. Addressing my views came out in February of 2023. It's very easy to misremember over a period of nearly a decade, even though he should have been theoretically able to gather these DMs as easily as I could. On the other hand, it's very, very hard for me to not blame Jackson because he held on to this butchering recounting of events for over 9 years. Let me put it this way. Even if Jackson's story was accurate, it would still be horribly pathetic. But the fact that it's not accurate is almost as pathetic as Jackson going to conventions wearing his Animation Acre shirt. You see, like Ryan, he has merchandise shirts that he's not selling, that he just wears around to advertise his own little pet projects. These two really are a match made in hell. And despite it all, through our efforts, we actually finally did manage to get a reaction out of Jackson. You want to know what finally happened to make him actually engage in the situation? So, you know, I've been telling all of you guys that this guy's been hanging out with an admitted groomer. Yeah, that's how we did it. Crimson once again raised the alarm and let everyone know what choice Jackson made, because despite Jackson denying it, it was very much a choice. And he kind of flipped the fuck out.
You ready to talk about Jackson?
Sure, yeah, let's talk about it.
Adam, the Crimson Ham, I'll just call him, or Crimson, made a tweet trying to say that Jackson's with that he's partying with a groomer, and he used a picture of when we were meeting Ariel earlier this year. Now, I never posted that to anyone on social media except Chelsea, but Jackson apparently posted his picture up, and Crimson started to use that specific photo to target him.
Yeah.
Why he waited now to target, I do not understand.
Who cares?
But that's something I legit do not know.
Yeah, it's crazy, because I feel like Jackson's a bit of a background character in your whole thing anyway.
No, they're trying to say that I'm constantly talking like I know they've always been trying to target Jackson, but this is definitely the biggest they've ever targeted him.
No, I get that, yeah. But no, well, I guess, how has Jackson been holding up, I guess, since this moment, since, you know, he told me all that stuff?
He texted me a bunch of stuff, and I decided to call him, and even though I couldn't see his face, I could tell he was crying.
Yeah.
He blocked Crimson during the call, and I told him 2 things. 1, block him, or 2, talk to him directly to solve this issue.
Yeah.
Jackson's on board with what he's doing.
Really?
Yeah, so if I really want to go through with it, then I have his support now.
It is beyond clear to me that Jackson doesn't care about grooming. He doesn't care about abuse. He doesn't care about anything. Because here's the fun part. He didn't have any reaction to anything no matter what we told him. However, the news breaks that he's friends with said groomer, and the podcast he's on has a discussion with him. Jackson apparently decides to stick with Ryan even through that, and gets himself kicked off of said podcast. And after all that, now he wants to sue Crimson Mayhem. Like, here's the meme. And then the obvious events is what I said at the beginning. Ryan and Jackson live near each other, so blah, 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 blah. 1, even with that fact, Jackson could have worked with us, without telling Ryan anything, like our next suspect did. 2, this whole event actually did lead to a bit of a spat, where Ryan and Jackson almost broke up, because Jackson's mother and sister actually found Ryan to be a bad influence. But in the most heartwarming, demented love story that I've ever heard, Jackson made up with his soulmate, deciding that it literally didn't matter if everyone else in his life hated him, and wanted nothing to do with him. Ryan, the grooming narcissistic nonce who abuses everyone, including Jackson, is just that valuable to Jackson's pathetic middling life. What else does he have in it, really? A fanfiction that he's been working on for 10 years that he pays celebs on Cameo to read? Alright, fine, Jackson, you can have him. You can have them all to yourself. You just gotta pay the toll. You don't get anything else. No respect, no reputation, at this point, no peace. Fuck you. Go ahead, try suing Crimson. Sue me for what it's worth. The problem that you got doing that is that everything you're accused of is absolutely true. And at this point, all this information is in public interest. Jackson, you associate with a groomer. That means you are a public danger. I don't know if you're helping them. I don't know what you know. Like, the other option here is that Ryan has a significant amount of dirt on you, which makes me wonder what the fuck you've done. What I do know is that you're trying to help him return to the internet. You're appearing in his videos. Jackson, the lesson that you have to learn in life, the hard way apparently, is that if you lie down with dogs, you will get fleas. When you say, I don't want to get into drama, I can understand that. Nobody does. Here's what you absolutely have to do if you don't want to get into drama. Throw Ryan to the curb. Then guess what? There's a significant chance that he'll never be in drama again. They'll have peace. Ryan didn't want to deal with Necopon, and I certainly didn't want to fucking deal with Ryan. Here's how life works. Sometimes it puts a hard choice on your plate. Sometimes it throws complications at you, and you need to deal with it like a fucking adult. Not this pissy, mealy-mouthed, cowardly bullshit. And if you can't deal with that logic of reality shit, get lost, get help, or get bent.
And of course, Rebecca. They were the ones that I trusted the most to help me out with my problems, and they really got me through a lot.
Believe it or not, originally this entire video was going to be just about Cartoon Gal, or as I like to call her, Chelsea the Little Liar. As it turned out, giving context for the other two people proved to be a bit too important to leave this just as a solo takedown. Chelsea is someone that I'm very much not happy with. I guess maybe there's one teeny tiny thing that Ryan and I do have in common. I don't like liars very much myself. Jenny was insane. Jackson, morally bankrupt. Chelsea, however, is something else entirely. Surprisingly devious, which on the face of it does sound incredibly absurd. To remind you who this is, she is Miss ASMR. Her testimony in addressing my views was the one where she went on and on about her abusive mother exploring her part fetish at a school event.
Like when things got really bad with my mom, and whenever she got all violent and started yelling or farting around the house, or whenever I get a really bad memory of her, Rebecca always listened to me and calmed me down.
To somehow prove that Ryan was good at getting social cues. Like with Jackson, we did try to reach out to her multiple times. You know what, I actually already recorded this part, so let's just hit you with a recap of how that went. We tried to reach out to Chelsea, you know, the woman who was traumatized by her mother farting in school, and who was completely loyal to Ryan despite everything. In the production of this video, we actually learned that Ryan and Cartoon Gal are actually a match made in heaven. Maddie reached out to her. His first message to her in over a year, mind you, and her reaction was to ask him for $150. Just straight up. Why did she want $150? Because she wanted to commission someone to write her dream project. Maddie, ever the curious person that he was, gave her $20, basically just to see what would happen. And to tell you the truth, not much happened after that. So basically, he was out $20. $20. A couple weeks later, we had Grace reach out to Cartoon Gal, and Cartoon Gal copy-pasted the same fucking message asking for money about this dream story of Sheila from Time Squad on a weight gain journey. So Maddie gave Chelsea $20, and Chelsea asked Grace for an additional $70, even though the total was $150. This means that Chelsea was probably also asking other people for money for this fetish story. Like, just right out of the blue, the first message they send to her. If you're curious, Chelsea is very insistent that it's not actually a fetish story, but it's about body positivity. That, just looks like a fetish story that is written by a fetish writer. And, she's getting married to a man whose entire identity is wrapped around his fetish. I cut that part out of the last Stargiant video for...
Hello? Fat fetish artist? I would like to commission a weight loss comic.
reasons that we'll get to. So what happened after that? Well, an ex-partner of Chelsea's implored us to try again, claiming that Chelsea was just an innocent little bean who was just stuck under Ryan's thumb. He's a big, bad, evil man with hypnotizing brainwashing powers, and Chelsea has no agency of her own.
I stand by this. I went through the comments on my older stuff, and people really did love what I said back then. It's just, when an evil person hypnotizes them, they're gonna change their minds.
And Chelsea was so stuck under his thumb that these two were engaged to be wed, apparently. Couldn't hurt to try again, right? To be fair, this did lead us to some important crossroads. We eventually got through to Chelsea, and we told her to stop e-begging me or the team, which, according to Maddie's video on this whole endeavor, she actually didn't stick to, so I guess that's another lie. I guess it's more important to ask him for Funko Pops than to keep a promise. We eventually built up a rapport with her, and we presented her with evidence of Ryan's wrongdoings, just in case somehow she had no idea what was going on. During this time, she did tell us that she actually didn't like Ryan, calling him Satan, and by her own words, postponing that planned wedding by years. Over time, she shot a lot of insults at Ryan, so it started to build the established story. At this time, Chelsea essentially agreed to give us information, i.e. be the mole. And I know you're probably thinking, but here's the really fun and funny part about all of this. It was never necessary and it never did anything. As I mentioned at the beginning, we had Mac, and Mac knew how to ask all of the right questions to get Ryan to talk about anything. Way too much. Beyond that, since my last video, there was another unlikely hero in our midst. In that video, I called out Star Wars Fan for associating with Ryan, and when I did so, he fled the coop. And I know what kind of look that is, but here's his defense. Since then, Star Wars Fan has gone above and beyond being helpful to me and the team. He's given us all kinds of scripts, the direct audio of Ryan giving some kind of venting response to my video of March 2024.
Hey, remember when this director said it's wrong to accuse people without proof? Now he did the same thing for me. He accused me both in 2021 being an asshole and 2024 being a foul. I did not do anything.
Stuff that even Mac didn't get. He also gave us plenty of additional information, and has also claimed that Ryan hasn't treated him the best either. My team and I have been in contact with Star Wars Fans since late last year. So you Twitter idiots, take heed. It is literally resolved by all of the people involved. Legit, no one important cares anymore. With that all being said, in November of last year, with what we discovered in the Jedi Bread logs, it became a high priority for Chelsea's sake to get her to break it off with Ryan completely. The Jedi Bread logs revealed that Ryan was a person who would send CSAM to people completely unprompted, which is also my cue to remind the audience. Do not talk to this guy. It is legitimately dangerous, and because of his little habits, you may end up actually getting contacted by the police. Also, Jackson, if you've been watching this far, congratulations. If that hasn't happened to you yet, it will. Honestly, at this point, I'd be surprised if it hasn't. However, there was a little bit of a hang-up with getting Chelsea away from Ryan. She was too afraid. At the time, I could understand it. She didn't live near Ryan like Jackson did, but Ryan did know where she lived. He had her phone number, and he recorded her day after day, having legit folders of recordings of her. Ryan says that he has permission. Chelsea told us that he didn't have permission. They're both liars. I really don't give a fuck. I don't believe anyone, and I don't care. So we came up with a plan with Chelsea. She would give over the credentials of her Discord account to Grace. Chelsea agreed to this. Like, she legitimately agreed to this. The people we are dealing with are not very bright. Luckily, we weren't hackers, and we had good intentions. And luckily, we have the patience of saints because we needed to do this twice. The first night we tried, Chelsea got cold feet apparently, and logged back into her own account and almost spoiled everything.
Speaking of hackers, what you ought to be aware, there are people who actually think I'm a hacker. I did not fool them into thinking that. They think I am. Remember, I am Uncle Scuff up here. I am Grandpa Luddite, and they think I'm a hacker.
I immediately blocked her. At that point, I was just done. But I guess me blocking her spooked her so much that she was willing to give it another go. Everyone deserves a second chance, right? We made two things abundantly clear to Chelsea at that moment. If she pulls that son again, we're done. And if she ever talks to Ryan Kraleski again on her own accord, we are also done. If you're getting blocked again, goodbye. The night of November 13th, 2025 into the 14th, Grace was able to get into Chelsea's account again, trying to help her break it off. Once again, because Chelsea was just too gosh darn scared. And despite being so gosh darn scared, Chelsea goes behind our back and pulls a completely different stunt. Here's what Chelsea did that night. She gave Grace access to her Discord account, and immediately starts texting Ryan, saying that Grace hacked the account. Now, I'm not a elite hacker here, but I'm a little confused, Chelsea. You see, if someone hacks into your accounts, don't you usually not know who did it? Like, I mean, it's a Discord thing where someone poses as your friend to trick you because they already hacked into that friend's account. That happened earlier to Wes this year. But like, the person in Wes's account was not Wes. That's just someone else having already hacked their account just moving to the next in line. Chelsea and Ryan decided to try and play the investigation team for fools. But now, you're about to see what fourth dimensional thinking actually is. Ryan is directly asked who he's communicating with online, and he brings up, quote-unquote, a man that is in love with him. This is used as an in. Now, admittedly, you could argue that it's a bit scummy to do something like this, ignoring the fact that Ryan is a nonce and a groomer and an abusive fish and no one should feel sorry for him ever. But here's the fun fact of the matter. Ryan knew that it was legit Grace the entire time. And in spite of all of this, in order to prove that Ryan wasn't cheating on Chelsea to Grace, he gives out the credentials to his own Discord account, which, you know, we got to take a little peek in and had a bit of extraction fun. And like, here's my favorite part of hindsight. This was
I hate all of this.
definitely at the edge of what we were willing to do ethically. And I'd understand if people considered that immoral or beyond the pale or whatever. But here's the thing. If Ryan knew that this was Grace the entire time, there is no ethical dilemma at all. This means there's no argument of impersonation, threats, or false pretense. These two legitimately played themselves and got rid of any argument they might have. Of course, at the time, we didn't know what Ryan knew. But we did know one little thing. Remember Red? So in the interim, we got in contact with them. And they told us a pretty shocking and strange story of things that Ryan did to them while they were underage. Even in the modern day, they do seem to be largely affected by it. However, I don't need to tell you the story myself, because Ryan tells that story in this interaction. Okay, so the next part of the story is about to get quite crazy, like more than we've dealt with so far, so bear with me. Ryan knows that Grace is in Chelsea's account. Despite this, he goes on telling this story here. So the obvious question, how do we know he wasn't just making shit up? Because the comments that he makes here were deleted by that night's archive. I have the screenshots that you're seeing because Grace was screen sharing what she was doing. And because I think fourth dimensionally, Ryan, I was taking some screenshots of my own while the story was going and tucking them away in a safe place just in case. So here's the first comment in this story. And I gotta say, if Ryan is playing something against us, this is a bizarre move. Oh yeah, I'm gonna mess with these people. I'm gonna make them think that I'm the worst kind of degenerate of all time. It's the perfect prank. I guess to Ryan's credit, it did work and it stopped us being suspicious that Chelsea went behind our back. Because why would he tell this to Grace? Also, there's this statement here that we gotta address immediately. I remember him lying about his age to me and acting strange around me. Ryan, I thought you said that one lie equals 1,000 lies. That one lie there is worth 10,000, because I know it's a lie and I can prove that it's a lie. Whenever Red is brought up to Ryan, he will always state that Red lied about his age. This is not true. Ryan used to be a bit of an artist, you see. I mean, he was on DeviantArt, and what was he supposed to do there other than moderating a Loud House foot fetish group? Or favorite fetish art of the CMC? One year, he drew Red a little bit of a birthday present, as a giant, with belly button showing. And you might ask, what's wrong with that? Well, look at the candles on the cake in the drawing. What number is that? That number is 17. And if you failed preschool math, like apparently Ryan has, that number is smaller than 18. Ryan drew a fetish piece for somebody who just turned 17.
Surprise, surprise, Ryan's a freak. Ryan should kill themselves.
And then there's this little bit here, where Ryan admits to Grace, I guess, about a roleplay with Wes. And I love the defense here, because it makes me want to die. According to Ryan, it wasn't sexual, it was just about giantesses, which, you know, for Ryan is sexual. Does this man know how fetishism works? He even starts talking about blue, too. And it just goes on and on and on. Because this is all quite the mindfuck, let me be crystal clear on the order of events here. We heard that Ryan may have groomed Red in the logs with Red. We went to talk with Red. And what Ryan tells us here is literally the story that Red told us. For those who are just listening to the video and not actually watching it, I highly recommend tabbing in and read what Ryan has to say about what he did with Red. This is the exact story that Red told us that Ryan did to them. You know how the old saying is he said versus she said? They're both saying the same thing in this case. At the time, we didn't make the story public, and we definitely didn't tell Ryan that we knew this. He just basically randomly gave a story that matched the accusation perfectly of his own accord. And once again, he knew it was race. And there's something else here. Ryan claims to this day that everything he did with Red is okay because the guy quote-unquote forgave him. And Ryan proves this quote-unquote by plastering a screenshot that doesn't mention grooming at all. It literally does not showcase what he thinks it says. I can't show it because it would break anonymity, but Ryan, this is for you. It doesn't prove what you think it proves. Even to this day, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this night. With what we knew at the time, it made sense. You know, Chelsea wanted to break it off with Ryan, and Ryan gets confronted, and to keep Chelsea, he drops all sorts of crazy shit. However, what actually happens is Chelsea says, yeah, here, you can get into my account to break with Ryan. Someone she has been shit-talking, mind you, and saying that she outwardly hates. But no, she goes behind her backs and tells Ryan this. And as a result, Ryan gives us access to his Discord account and admits to so fucking much. And it's true, Ryan may have deleted things in his Discord account, kicked away friends, all that kind of stuff. He didn't do it thoroughly enough because we still got to see his messages with Brandon the Brony Pony, which were not fun. Man was not meant to see some things. Maybe I don't think fourth-dimensionally enough. Ryan or whoever you're getting to watch this, if you did get this far, I have to know, what was the game plan here, my dude? Was this literally all in service to making us think you broke up with Chelsea, like everything else be damned? Credit where it's due, it worked. Speaking of which, let's take a little closer look at some of those Chelsea messages, considering apparently she was watching the entire time. Yeah, Chelsea, that's also my reaction when Hubby Poo admits to grooming a 16-year-old. What the fuck, Chelsea? No, seriously, stop posting random cartoon shit on Twitter and explain. What do you find so entertaining about this? As far as we knew at the time, Chelsea had broken off with Ryan. She even made a nice little tweet about it, you know, which in hindsight is lying to her audience.
I can't address my freak friend. I need to post more about these children's cartoons.
Because in reality, she never broke it off with Ryan, and was in communication with him the entire time. There were signs early on. Chelsea still appeared in the credits of Ryan's videos, but Ryan was actually willing to lie on Chelsea's behalf to obscure the truth. He told Mac that he was still in denial that the breakup had even happened, which is believable considering it's Ryan we're talking about. However, at a point, Ryan tells Mac that the breakup never actually happened, and that it was Grace hacking Chelsea's account, saying that someone, just anyone, hacked into Chelsea's account to make him think that the two of them had broken up. Alright, that's an excuse that someone at Ryan's mental fortitude could believe. It wouldn't be strange, and I could believe Ryan believing that. Saying Grace did it? Now, that's a damn lucky guess, isn't it? It's not exactly what happened. As I stated, there was no hacking involved, but it does sound like an interpretation that someone like Ryan could reasonably have. So, the immediate, obvious question is, was it really just a guess? I personally kept Chelsea at arm's length after this revelation. However, we didn't go forward with anything because we didn't have any actual evidence. And all we had is Ryan speaking nonsense. Because, with it all said and done, it legitimately could have been a very damn lucky guess. Other members of the team did what they felt was best. Maddie, unfortunately, got the most screwed out of all of this. You know, Chelsea going back on her word and e-begging him. A lot. But who knows, maybe this was intentional because it did keep us in the dark further. You see, Maddie told plenty to Chelsea about what we knew about Ryan. Things that, you know, the public should know about what's going on in Ryan's life. Like videos that he made that we got from Max, stuff like that. And to Chelsea's credit, she never told any of this to Ryan. And I don't mean that in a moral sense. I mean, to her credit as a liar and a deceiver. Because she's a double dealer. And she was never truly on Ryan's side. She was on everybody's side. You see, here's what Chelsea was actually doing the whole time. Chelsea lied to me and the investigation team and said that she had cut off all contact with Ryan. Meanwhile, at the same time, Chelsea was also lying to Ryan, making sure that she said nothing that would get him to suspect that she was talking with us. It was the perfect plan. Chelsea could ask Maddie for all those Funko Pops, and at the same time, she could ask Ryan for a cow and chicken video. She could get all the material possessions that she ever wanted. It was a plan that was working for a while, until she screwed up. Recently, Chelsea's arm started hurting, and she became paranoid that she was going to have a heart attack. She wasn't very public about this, but Chelsea did tell Maddie about this, repeatedly, as if he was a doctor or a physician. And Chelsea also told this to Ryan, who proceeded to tell Mac, who proceeded to tell us.
Well, I guess. Did she say anything about what made her feel depressed?
Oh, yes, her heart. Like when she's in pain, she cannot enjoy anything. See, Chelsea has two fears. Has a fear of heart attacks and a fear of surgery.
They should fear God instead, who can kill the soul.
That's why she's been entirely telling me, please tell me Ryan I don't need surgery.
Oops. It was all so damn specific. Same issue, same thoughts. Chelsea was dead to rights. Almost. The final nail in the coffin was Ryan sending Chelsea's texts during the night of the quote-unquote hack. To make sure we had all of our ducks in a row and there was absolutely no doubt whatsoever, we tried playing devil's advocate on Chelsea's behalf. Because at that point in time, we did assume that Chelsea was relatively honest. And we absolutely knew that Ryan was not an honest character. And when Ryan says stuff like this on call,
it's nice, it has Wi-Fi now, so I'm able to talk to Chelsea. Although this time we didn't talk because she kept complaining about her.
It doesn't mean much. He lies as he breathes.
Speaking of which, I once had an artist named Necopon. All she did was do a couple pieces of art for me. You're right.
If he breathed, he a thought!
And unfortunately, I hate to state this, but Neko was one of my mods.
And one strange part about the texts is the evidence that Ryan needed to see that this was really Chelsea. She mentions a necklace, which she tweeted about, and that her mother has a fart fetish, which because Ryan, the entire internet knows, and Ryan should know that the entire internet knows. So we weren't going to move forward with anything until we were beyond certainty, and make sure there was legitimately
bootleg. That's amazing.
No other possible answers here. We toyed with alternate theories. Could this be someone doing an off on Ryan? No, Chelsea was not public about her own pain. It would have to be someone close to her, specifically turning on her for reasons that I can't really comprehend. We looked through every angle here. Could be Photoshop. Could Ryan have got another cell phone and be sending messages to himself to pull up a lie? In the end, however...
Fun fact, if you want to see a cartoon that in some ways depicts Satan biblically accurate, it's actually Cow and Chicken.
There was literally no explanation that could truly exonerate Chelsea because of the texts of the night of November 13th. They were as they were happening. The team and I were tight-lipped about this. Only the investigation team and Chelsea knew what was going on. Not even Mac knew what was going on at the time. And here's the real deal. The investigation team did not have Ryan's cell phone number. At the time, at least. Wes was on his phone that night, but he wasn't using it for that. He was on standby because one thing that we knew Ryan was going to do.
I want to kill myself during that time period.
You see, this is a common pattern with Ryan. If Chelsea breaks up with him, he's going to crash into a tree. If he ever makes a top 10 worst Stargiant Productions video, he's going to jump in a lake. You know, a script that he eventually actually did make. He threatens his own end quite a lot. And if I didn't know any better, I'd have to say that he does it a little bit too much. Like, I don't know, like he's doing it for social brownie points or manipulation. The word of the day is projection. Also, this is a trick that his girlfriend seemed to have learned too.
Gonna talk to her about it. She's claiming.
No, the word of the day is samoflange.
Right. So we're just gonna take this. But she claimed in my DMs that she's gonna stab herself. So we're gonna do this delicately and professionally.
No one ever told Chelsea about the investigation team calling the police, if you're wondering. Obviously. Even the people who did talk with her understand the importance of privileged information. However, for some reason, Chelsea told us on the 14th of January 2026 that a detective came to Ryan's house. In spite of everything else, I have no doubts that this actually happened. I mean, for starters, it freaked Ryan the fuck out, I can say that. And he's been entirely consistent about his experience. So he released a document talking about what he was accused of, and it'd be one thing if he just said a detective came to his house, but no, the allegation that made the detective visit him is what he points to. And I know for a fact, a call to the authorities were made about Ryan because of the Jet Bread DMs. After this revelation, we obviously had quite a few questions for Chelsea, and for once, we really wanted some goddamn honesty. Grace, Maddie, myself, Mac, and Phineas had a call with Chelsea that lasted roughly 2 hours, and now it's public on the archive channel. Now let's preempt something here. Throughout the call, Grace does repeatedly say that the call will never see the light of day. Here is standard protocol with what happens in commentary. Everyone records just about every conversation they have. If you're speaking to anyone in commentary for like any reason, assume you're being recorded. In this call, no assumption was even needed. Chelsea was told upfront that Maddie and Matt were recording.
Are you alright?
I mean, that's not inherently true. Like, anytime I'm talking to, like, an actual friend, I don't record calls. So, generally as a rule, yeah, but at the same time, if you're a person who stands by your word, you shouldn't ever worry about that anyways. And if you have a bad take or you say something incorrect, just own it.
Right?
Yeah, trying to be.
Okay. Chelsea, I'm gonna let you know right now that we are recording this.
Yeah.
Now, generally, calls like this don't go public unless they need to. You know, provided everyone can keep things battened down. However, there is one simple...
I see that, Christina Coria. Nope. Ryan wrote dicks. Not ducks. Ryan wrote dicks. Just like Jar was addicted to cock.
Thing that you can do to get a call like this public, and that's to lie about the contents of said call. After said call, Chelsea had a bit of a sad post saying that she was considering leaving Twitter. Grace links to Maddie's video, and she makes a tweet
Leave
that has
the world
since
of the
been
living.
I wonder why. She also sends this to a friend. She claimed that she just wasn't clear, that she kept getting interrupted, which I just don't find honest.
Okay, so I want you to now go back to your email for a second, please.
Which email?
Your main one, and press the C, and we're gonna switch. We're gonna switch back to your main account, Cartoon Gal. Yep, thank you. And then go to send. So tap the 3 lines.
You guys think I'm just dumb?
We don't think you're dumb. I get confused sometimes too.
When I'm trying to explain things, I try to walk things through as clear as possible.
Maybe I made mistakes before, but I'm trying to fix them.
Understandable.
Oh my god, enough with the 1 HP voice.
Wait, scroll up. No, scroll up. Scroll up. Top.
Number 0499 Fun Fat Cartoon Network censored the devil's name to the red guy. I don't know if it was censored or if they chose to avoid the problem, but hello, it's me, the red guy. I preferred the I Am Weasel bits, honestly.
Grace talked to Chelsea as if she was an easily startled kitten, and throughout it all, Chelsea kept lying and lying and lying.
I know I deleted his number a long time ago, so I haven't been texting him at all.
Are you still talking to Ryan Pruleski?
No, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not.
In the call we had with Chelsea, something fell out to me. Around the 25 to 30 minute mark, Chelsea was discussing the cow chicken Blu-ray gift she wanted from Ryan. Talking about her late father and how she longs for the feeling of happiness and the physicality of gifts from when he was alive.
Can you explain the cow and chicken thing, like Phineas asked before?
I can explain it if you'll let me.
I am going to let you. I'm just asking if you will explain that to us.
Just, you know how things have been hard for me since my dad died, you know?
I get it.
Because he passed like last May, and I can't afford the things I like anymore, and sometimes I just go last resort, and sometimes I even do things that I'm not thinking clearly because I just want things to be as good as they used to be.
Grace and Phineas were leading the call, and I felt like I couldn't get a word in edgewise, and so I stayed silent, but if I was able to speak, I would say the following. Chelsea, I understand the grief you're going through. I really do. You know me. You know I lost my aunt lately, and you know she was like a mother to me because I told you about her, and so I understand wanting things to be like how they were before our loved ones passed. However, that does not excuse nor justify going behind our backs and lying to us about your continued contact with Ryan Pruleski as we witnessed a few minutes ago, because you know how bad he is. Going back to him is not a viable solution. The reason why I say all this is because when rewatching the call and getting to that part, it genuinely made me feel like she was using her father's passing as a crutch, and I don't think I can stay silent about that.
Even at the time, it felt very reminiscent of Monday Matt's Boulder kill stream. What I'm going to do is link the call in the description below, while posting her tweet right here, so you all can see if she was being truthful about what happened. Chelsea's grandmother interrupted her way more than we did, speaking in Bosnian, which we even went through the effort to translate. It's not in the actual uploaded call because it's all irrelevant, by the way. She asks something quite peculiar, and she asks this question a lot throughout the entire call. It's, how can I prove that I am not a bad person? Never, how can I prove that I didn't do it? Always, how can I prove that I'm not a bad person? Here's how you do that, Chelsea. You get a time machine and make better choices. As soon as Ryan was on screen, she rapidly tried to scroll past him, and the lies kept piling up. I didn't send a message to Ryan. Those aren't my texts. Yeah, right. Chelsea's voice was featured in a recent Ryan video.
The match, the last hand, is about to be played. Can I get through this without giggling? I need a trump card. There's a trump card. That's the president.
A review on the first case of Apollo Justice. Chelsea claims that this was simply an old recording that Ryan held onto for months and months. So here's the thing about that makes it very unlikely. Ryan has this weird particular thing for anniversaries.
Evan Flutter Lover 7004 for $5. Chelsea's 1 HP voice versus Deed's 1 HP voice, which is worse? Deed's because I had to deal with it.
wanted to get married to Chelsea on the 15th of June because that's when Gravity Falls first aired. The Apollo Justice video was slated specifically for April 20th, 2026, because that's when the game case took place. If he was planning on making a video for that specific deadline, and it's not a horribly complicated video, mind you, when do you think it's the most reasonable for that process to begin? For that video, Julian, Jackson, and Chelsea just had to record some lines. That can be done in less than a week. It was approximately 6 months between the breakup and April 20th, 2026. Is it really likely that Ryan would have started production on the video at all more than half a year ago? Does this story seem even remotely plausible? Not that it matters, because in call, Phineas got Chelsea to admit that she was actually sending in the lines.
And so the only communication you had with Ryan was to voice lines in his videos?
Yes, and emails.
And also to send requests for things on Merikari.
Yes.
Okay. Of course, there was one question that absolutely had to be asked. Who told you about the detective, Chelsea? And she gives us this answer.
Lexa.
What's her last name?
Hondi.
Then she says she hasn't talked to that person since last year.
When was the last time you talked to her?
Last time I talked to her was last year.
Which is really, really strange, considering that the detective came to Ryan's house this year in January. I guess that's where Chelsea can find the time machine that she needs.
She had a zigzag profile picture from The Thief and the Cobbler. Yeah, like she lives around the Pennsylvania area.
Really? Because their DNR page says they live in Germany. At this point, we assume
No, True Buddha Cat, it was Charlie Adler.
That Ryan told Chelsea about the detective himself. And here's a part that I noticed while actually in the call. You know how Chelsea tends to speak, right?
And Rebecca's done some good edits for you, like Norm of the North 2, Certifiable Super Sitter, Camp Coral.
Slow. It's been compared to ASMR. As I stated earlier, much of the call was in Bosnian. Throughout the call, Chelsea did show some emotion here and there. Like, at one point she sounds like she's starting to cry. But the second she starts speaking to her grandmother in Bosnian.
Neće to ništa bit. No. Sve će bit fajn, moj. Ne da ispravim, mi gledamo nešto. Pričamo komentari na nešto. Ne mogu sad kad si na call, ne možeš ništa pokazat. Pa pričam
Waka laka paka to you two, lady.
That emotional reservoir just seemed to dry right up. Could there be more innocent reasons for the rapid change of emotions? Sure, but here's the more important question. Do you trust this person? In spite of the frustration we all had, we gave Chelsea every chance to speak. I even opened the door at the end. I told her point blank, if there's anything that you want to say it. And towards the end, I made sure to let her know the status quo, because she was lying to Ryan too, not just us. So I made it stated so she would actually know what the fuck was going on. Me and the team, we were all about business trying to find answers. Ryan isn't that. And one way or another, Ryan would figure all of this out. And when he did, it wouldn't be very good for Chelsea. You know, unless Mr. I Hate Liars was lying about all of that. Unless he wants to marry a weasel because the raging nymphomaniac can't help but hump the leg of everyone who remotely gives him the time of day. Ryan did eventually watch Maddie's video. It blew Max cover, but we all made the call that that was okay. It was worth it to not have to play nice around Chelsea anymore. Now, after this call, Chelsea panics in a bizarre attempt to prove her own innocence. I say bizarre because, okay, Grace makes it absolutely clear that she is to be the only point of contact that Chelsea has with the investigation team. Chelsea was told to only talk to Grace. No one else wanted to deal with her. Chelsea, for no reason, sends an apology to Kota, someone she has barely talked to beforehand. She makes a sad post on Twitter, once again, basically lying to her audience, lie by omission. And Grace informs everyone of what she actually did. And then, in an attempt to prove her own innocence, Chelsea doxes Ryan's cell phone number. Like, she puts it on Twitter, showing that she's blocked his number, which, number one, violated the terms of service of the platform, but two, it showed us that yes, she was texting him to begin with. Then she does something else completely baffling. She starts texting to Ryan, accusing him of impersonating her, which Ryan shares the DMs to Mac, because it took him 2 days after Maddie's video to figure things out. Ryan is confused as all hell about all this because no shit. Then, in the most stunning move possible, Chelsea...
By the way, apparently Mongrel was going around saying that I impersonated them on different accounts. So this is the first time I talked about it publicly, so I'll just go ahead and say it. Mongrel, you don't even want to be you. Why would I want to be you?
Chelsea has the ex-partner shoot a message to Grace. What is the contents of this message? It shows that Chelsea had AI-generated fetish art of cartoon minors. Why was this image shared? Because it was apparently to show that Chelsea deleted the message. Which, number one, yes, Grace was all like, why the fuck would you show me that? And two, something about me doubts that she's really changed her opinion on this kind of filth.
The last thing Chelsea and I did in the chat was we watched the Kids Next Door episode with Grandma Stubbins because she wanted to see the kids get fat. That was the last. Chelsea directly told me that's what she wanted to see. I was like, okay. Like, I love Kids Next Door, but I'm not sure if that's the best episode. And she kind of worded it a little weird to me.
And you know what? After all of this chaos, I would not be surprised if she came back to Ryan. Gotta get those Funko Pops somehow, huh? And she can't get them from Maddie anymore, so what's her only other option? Mr. Stupid.
If I actually don't really want to give her a medical advice because there's a thing called malpractice, even in advice, and I could get arrested for that.
Now, if my anger seems over the top or ridiculous or cartoonish, I want to showcase why I am so angry with Chelsea in particular. I'm angry with the other two too, obviously, but with Chelsea in particular. Being upfront, I never really knew any of these people, at least not as much as some other members of the team. How Dashi knew Yoda Jax or how Maddie and Kota knew Jenny. During this endeavor, we got Chelsea's DMs with Ryan, and I'm going to show you how Ryan treats Chelsea. Last year, Chelsea's father died, the one family member of hers that didn't seem to be abusive to her, and Ryan was there for her, telling her things like, if her father was around today, he would say, you should 100% be with Ryan, the cross necklace that Chelsea wears. Ryan tells Chelsea that the necklace is good luck, and that doesn't sound so bad, but Ryan does it in the most Ryan way of doing it. Ryan tells Chelsea that her father would have died sooner if he wasn't wearing the necklace. A person that Ryan, by the way, knows has OCD. The one who was having intrusive thoughts of dying by a heart attack, because that's the way she believed her father died. Ryan sent her an image of his avatar, full frontal, having sex with the 14-year-old Homura Akemi from Madoka Magica. And if you use the 1,000-year-old dragon argument because of some time loop bullshit, goodbye, I'm banning you. Throughout the DM...
What the heck did I just listen to?
He is constantly trying to egg her on to make revenge porn of everyone that he hated. Then there's this part of the call that Mac had with Ryan.
Did you know Chelsea's grandma was the one sent her to the hospital?
No, I didn't.
Here's what happened. Chelsea and I went on a phone call one time, just wanted to talk to ourselves, having fun. And the grandma kept interrupting, so Chelsea ran away from her, and then she tripped down the steps trying to avoid her, and then she broke her leg.
Oh, shit.
And by broke her leg, I mean a bone came out.
Okay, then.
Like, you know that one time we got so fresh air when Carter tripped and we saw, like, his bone out?
Yeah.
Just like that, exactly.
So, the DMs between Chelsea and Ryan actually go over this event a bit. And here's how Ryan reacted in the moment. He kept trying to get her to leave the hospital early, and this treatment goes on and on and on and on for years. And fun fact, Chelsea, he even admitted to having a backup gal, one he's already exchanged nudes with. I hope you have a very...
Ew. Also, I know you don't celebrate Christmas, but here's something hilarious. Chelsea's mom said that Santa Claus caused 9/11. Well, I mean, there's no evidence he didn't.
Very appropriate future with the man, Chelsea. Ryan is a parasite. He feeds off both the goodwill and the weaknesses of others. And I just gotta say, I hope it was worth it. Chelsea, you lied to everyone who even remotely cared about you. You lied to me, you lied to Grace, Maddie, Kota, you even lied to your audience. You lied to your fiancé, if that matters. You know, the one who has perverted thoughts involving minors. The one who put so many minors in danger. Literally, the only thing we asked you to do was to not talk to him. But you couldn't resist the temptation because you really fucking wanted Cow and Chicken on DVD. I hope it was fucking worth it. Then again, you are the person who munches on popcorn while watching people admit to grooming. Maybe you like all that shit. What else should I assume? All of you people can rot together in hell. Enjoy your chaotic, crazy, demented, perverted lives. And that goes for anyone else caught in this three-ring circus of depravity. Anahavian, Sage Froppy, Gumball fan, whatever. There is no anonymity for the people in Ryan's life. You want to avoid finding yourself on this chopping block? Drop the albatross around your neck and fuck off from the pervert degenerates. Because at this point, engaging with him says so much more about your character than it does about his. At this point, what else is there even to say?
Speaking of 9/11 stories, Chelsea's mom told her that Santa Claus was the one that caused it. That made her cry.
Yep.
Okay, so K-pop Demon Hunters, wartime stories, that makes sense. So that sure was something, and I hated it. Well, we've been at it for over 2 hours now. Not bad, actually, considering the length of time for this video. The only thing I can say is I hope Ryan and friends have a very happy die. I hate it. I hate them. And I'd love to be in a call with any of them. Not for accountability. Not to try to get them to see the errors their way. But to bully them into suicide. So, yay! Alright, so I was actually passed the ban list. And maybe one day we'll go over it. Maybe I'll make it a member stream and we can just have fun with it. But it is late for me. And I need to get up. This was certainly a thing. Certainly a thing. But thank you all for joining me. Next up on the chopping block for streams is whatever people voted for second place and third. I plan on going through all 3 of the things that my community post talked about. So yeah. It's gonna be wild. Lots of content. But I'm gonna go ahead and send you guys to commercials because I am tired, I am old, and I need to decompress before bed by killing things in Halo because I need to. We shall talk about it, Beef May. But I will send you guys to commercials, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. Enjoy the content. Where'd I put the commercials? There they are.
Don't miss the super androids that fly on wings of silver and fight with nerves of steel. The mighty Silverhawks.
Afternoons at 4.
Thundercats! Ho! Thunder excitement is flying at you this fall when the Thundercats tear into action.
Let's cut those mutants down to size.
Get ready to strike a blow for justice this fall with the mighty Thundercats.
Lupin! That man is a notorious thief who works all over the world!
Let's go meet this treasure that's soon to be ours.
Don't say that I didn't warn you.
You can't fool me! You're planning something again!
Cheese Pops can't get anything past you.
He'll steal your heart, and then he's coming for everything else. Lupin the Third, premiering next Saturday night at 2.
Take it off.
That'll be my pleasure.
Only Toonami on a...
ビーストウォーズセカンド最大の敵がついに目覚めたライオコンボイ変身新司令官の登場だガルバトロントランスフォーム破壊大帝驚異の三段変形ライオン台風史上最大の対決に君も参加せよ。 だからトランスフォーマービーストウォーズ
If one is born a man, at least once in his life, he will dream of becoming the strongest man alive.
Are you surprised at all? This is Orochi-style karate.
That's it, baby. Come straight for me.
Your training has paid off most impressively. I'd be happy to reward you now for all the progress you've made.
It could
That's
never
right.
equal your father. What an adorable little playground you have here.
Baki the Grappler.
You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, automatic cement launcher. Function, launches pre-mixed fast-drying cement at the rate of 5,000 GPM, glots per minute. Very effective at freezing monsters right in their tracks. Ending transmission. You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, Jake Clausen. Occupation, garage mechanic. Alias, Razor. Real job, SWAT Cat. Designs gadgets to capture bad guys. Goal, protection of Mega Cat City. Favorite expression, bingo. Ending transmission.
Meet St. Canard's Most Wanted.
Eat wanted, Starkling!
There's Megavolt, criminal circuit breaker.
It's playtime!
Quacker Jack, fiendish felon. Bushroot, experiment gone haywire.
I'm really not sinister, just misunderstood.
And diabolical evildoer Mega Duck.
A rotten kind of guy!
And only one superhero can stop them.
The original, Mr. Fix-It! Get him!
Darkwing Duck.
A new Optimus Prime is here. I'll transform Optimus! Power Master Optimus Prime, greatest leader of his time.
It's great to be back.
Now, Optimus Prime is back as a Power Master. He only transforms when his Nebulon becomes his engine. Power Master Optimus Prime! Look! Optimus is transforming into a super robot! Power Master Transformers! They've got the power to surprise!
The earth lies shattered and broken. A ruined wasteland that is now struggling to sustain life. Humanity is near the end after a devastating global meltdown. The oceans have been boiled away in nuclear fire. The land is charred and disfigured, saturated with deadly toxins. Life is a nightmarish struggle. The radiation levels have created hideous, mutated human savages. Mentally deranged, they roam in search of food and water. Gruesome violence brings terrible death to those who encounter these murderous mutants. It is an orgy of chaos, madness on a global scale. Savagery knows no limits. There are no nations, no laws, no order. In this grim reality, the forces of good and evil are once more preparing to fight for the future of mankind. Far, far away, a star shines out from the blackness of space. A beacon for the lost, a symbol of hope, an unfailing comfort to those on a journey. Known as the North Star, it has, through the ages, meant many things to many men. Under this eternal light walks the namesake of this star, a man of power and purity. A living beacon of hope, destined to bring light into the darkness. He is a feared man, spoken of in hushed tones. A legendary fighter, able to call on secret powers. Violence is met with worse violence as Ken destroys the forces of his evil half-brother. Heads roll, bodies fall and the earth runs red as Ken draws ever nearer to Shin's stronghold in the city of the Southern Cross. The scene is set for an epic struggle between good and evil. What Shin started cannot be stopped. Many will die trying. Many will run. But there is only one Fist of the North Star.